Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire. For the first time in 2015, the Detroit Tigers will hit the road. It is opening day here in Cleveland. Indians fans enjoying the sights and sounds of their home opener. It's an early showdown between two Central Division opponents as we welcome you to Progressive Field Game 1 in this three-game series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for Game 1 in an early season showdown. We understand it's only April, but it's still a Central Division opponent. The Tigers took care of the Minnesota Twins 3 straight, Rod, and it looks like they are really clicking on all cylinders.
You know, one of the things that I really admire about this Tigers group, they've got a lot of veterans on their team. Yes, they took care of the Minnesota Twins the first 3 games of the year, but they really know how to turn the page. What they'll be simply looking to do here in Cleveland is win a series, and they've won a lot of series here the last couple of years.
And they would love to continue to pitch well. They certainly got 3 outstanding pitching performances at Comerica Park. Now, today we'll take a look at Alfredo Simon. Who is Alfredo Simon? Well, the Tigers acquired him in the offseason for Eugenio Suarez and Jonathan Crawford, 2 pretty good prospects. But Simon had a really good year last year, establishing career highs in a lot of different categories. He made the All-Star team for the Cincinnati Reds, and the Tigers rider hopeful he can continue that this year with the Tigers.
He's got a lot of talent. That much we do know. He is 6 feet 6 inches. He's about 265 pounds. You talked about the fact that he made an All-Star team last year, but when he gets to that proper arm slot, he throws downhill with a power fastball with some real nice movement to it. He also has a really slow curveball. He's got a splitter. He's got an ephus split finger changeup as well. This guy's got a tremendous amount of stuff. One of the things they'll watch him very closely this year on is they want to make sure he stays healthy all year. They're going to watch him very closely because there are some people that say that he tired down the stretch wearing that Redlegs uniform.
All right, now the Tigers are certainly a good pick to win the division in the Central, but there are some other pretty good teams in this division, including the Indians. They have been a really trendy pick early on this season. Maybe one of the big reasons, a really good player, Michael Brantley.
Nice two-way player. He should have won a Gold Glove last year, but that guy Alex Gordon in Kansas City prevented him from doing that. But he hits over 300. He hit 20 home runs last year, stole more than 20 bases. He was in the MVP conversation. He's an outstanding baseball player. He can hit left-handers, he can hit right-handers, and he is absolutely worn out Tigers pitching. That is one guy today, and really for the rest of this weekend, they'll have to watch him closely.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Call Sam Studios. Check in with Matt Shepard. Coming up in this one today, you know, the Tigers have gotten it going in the middle of their lineup, but you need someone to set the table. The Tigers have 2 pretty good ones. Anthony Gose, Ian Kinsler. They're both off to great starts. Tigers Indians, Game 1, next.
Hello, 11111. Hello, 111.
First of three, the Tigers starting lineup today, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And for the Tigers, Anthony Gose, he'll lead it off. He is tied for the American League lead already with 6 hits so far this year. He's followed by Kinsler and Cabrera. No changes in the middle. Martinez, and Cespedes. You've got Castellanos, Sevilla, and Iglesias rounding it out for the Tigers. They are facing the right-handed offerings of Zach McAllister.
And McAllister's a hard thrower. He started 15 games last year. Didn't do very well as a starter. He pitched much better as a reliever in 7 outings out there. The ERA was just a shade over 2. He's got a power fastball, but it's the secondary pitches which has really prevented him from having a lot of success as a starter in the majors. Let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians starting defense behind McAllister this afternoon. They've got the very talented Brantley in left field, Bourne in center, Murphy in right, Chisenhall, Ramirez, Kipnis, Santana round out the infield, and Yan Gomes is their catcher.
So here is Anthony Gose stepping in to lead this one off for the Tigers. It'll be Gose, Kinsler, and Cabrera facing McAllister on a cool afternoon here in Cleveland. Wind blowing out to right field today. We'll keep that in mind as this one progresses. It's been a great start for Anthony Gose, 6 for 11. And he swings and misses, and that's how we start this one here today from Cleveland.
And Tigers will get a heavy dose of fastballs from McAllister this afternoon. The majority of the fastballs will be in the 95-mile-per-hour range.
McAllister, 27 years old, stands 6 feet 6 inches tall as he throws his strike to run the count 0-2.
A couple of big boys on the mound today for their respective squads.
Yeah, no doubt. Alfredo Simon not taking a back seat. 53 degrees our game time temp today. Here's the 0-2 to Anthony Gose, and a ball outside, 1-2. Well, Gose has a pair of 3-hit games to start this year. Rajay Davis started the opener. Anthony started games 2 and 3 against Minnesota and did not disappoint. McAllister now with a 1-2. Fouled back out of play. Tigers coming in sweeping the Minnesota Twins, and the Indians began their year in Houston. They took 2 out of 3 from the Astros. There's Kinsler waiting his turn on deck. McAllister's jersey ruffling in the wind here today. The 1-2 again. Just off the plate outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Gose. Gose has been a really good catalyst so far early in this season for the Tigers offense, and that's exactly what they expected he could do for this team. And he sends a ground ball off the glove of McAllister, and no play as Kipnis had him backed up, but it slowed it down just enough.
Looked like Kipnis had a difficult time of getting that ball out of his glove, but I don't know if he would have gotten Gose anyway. Gose has tremendous speed.
And we know Gose can get down the line in a hurry. So the Tigers get the leadoff man on. That'll go as an infield hit for Detroit.
Gose has the green light. He can run whenever he gets ready to run, but there are times where Brad Ausmus will stop him. He'll slow him down. He'll simply tell him to stay put. But other than that, he can run whenever he gets ready.
And right now a good sized lead against McAllister.
He does take a healthy lead, doesn't he?
Not afraid. What do base runners like to do? Just kind of push the bounds to where they know they can get back and then go as far as they can.
Especially your true base stealers like Gose.
Gose has stolen once this year, had 6 stolen bases this spring. And he'll draw a throw.
Had that delayed steal yesterday, and that was the topic of conversation this morning in Brad Ausmus's office. He says he doesn't know why a lot more guys that have the kind of speed like Gose don't utilize the delayed steal.
Kinsler coming in with good numbers to start the year. He looks at a ball down low.
And pretty much all fastballs thrown so far by McAllister. That's the first breaking ball that he's thrown. And sometimes if you don't get to that breaking ball a little bit earlier, especially on a windy day where you might have a difficult time of gripping the baseball, you're not going to have a good feel for it.
There goes the runner. Gomes has a strong throwing arm, and his throw is right on target.
What an exchange by Yan Gomes. The foot quickness and then the lethal arm and the throw down to Kipnis right on the bag. Oh, my goodness. Gose had a nice jump.
I'm going to say that's textbook as far as the catcher is concerned. Ramirez applying the tag, and just like that, the bases are empty. Numbers on Gomes, 27 caught stealing last year, third most in the major leagues.
Gose has a great arm, and he handles the pitching staff very well. But one of the things that he did do last year that kind of surprised a lot of people in baseball, he made 14 errors from behind the plate.
Meanwhile, 1-2 on Ian Kinsler, and that throw by Yan Gomes has changed the complexion of this inning. Here's the 1-2. Fouled back out of play. McAllister last year was 4-7 in 22 appearances, made 15 starts for the Indians. He missed about a month last year with some back inflammation. And again, the 1-2, a wave and a miss as Kinsler leaves the strike zone, 2 gone. Well, here are today's field conditions presented by Ace Hardware and the Scotts Company. And as we've told you, it's a little bit chilly here this afternoon, 53 degrees. But I think what's keeping it chilly is the wind that is blowing out to right field. Otherwise clear. There's no sign of rain, and that's good news.
Great crowd here today, as you would expect on opening day. 22nd consecutive opening day they've sold out here in this ballpark.
You know, I walked out of the hotel this morning and walked to the ballpark. I got about halfway here and I thought I should have taken a cab. It was really cold and windy, but it's turned into a decent afternoon, and you're right, a huge crowd. Miguel Cabrera batting with 2 outs. 2 out of 11 so far this year for Miguel. A couple of RBIs as well. Here's the 0-1. 0-2.
Good cut fastball there at 90 miles an hour. The cutter is designed to look just like the 4-seam fastball, but you can see this last pitch thrown here by McAllister just starts to inch its way to the outside corner, fooling Miggy. Great location as well.
And that time Cabrera would not chase. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, Miguel loves hitting in this ballpark. So does the guy on deck, Victor Martinez. The 3-4 hitters for the Tigers. They just torture Indians pitching. Cabrera in this ballpark, 333. With a bounce in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Really, the encouraging thing for the Tigers offense in that series against Minnesota is they were able to sweep quite handily, and really 3 and 4, Cabrera and Victor Martinez didn't do all that much. And so the depth of the Tigers lineup showed itself against Minnesota. Here's the 2-2. Drill to right field on a line. It'll drop, base hit. 2-out single for Cabrera.
That's what makes Miguel Cabrera so special. The fact that McAllister's out there throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. He doesn't try to pull this ball. He simply wants to go with it by pulling his hands inside. You don't have to work as hard to hit the ball the opposite way as you do when you're trying to pull a 96 mile per hour heater.
Cabrera and Santana exchanging greetings. Here is the former Indian Victor Martinez. Off to a 2-for-10 start, but the numbers last year sparkling.
He's always hit well in this ballpark. Whether wearing the Indians uniform, the Boston Red Sox uniform, and now the Detroit Tigers uniform, he loves this yard.
And like most teams, they are playing to pull. They've got the shift on against Victor Martinez. The second baseman, Jason Kipnis, way back into the outfield grass. He is able to play so deeply because Martinez doesn't run all that well. Victor, career against his former team, the Indians, is .353. The 0-1 is lined toward left field, slicing. That's going to get down, base hit. Cabrera takes the turn, but he will stop at second base. And back-to-back singles by Cabrera and Martinez. Well, the Tigers have something going. Well, the Bernstein advantage brings us the pitcher-batter matchup, and Victor Martinez currently has had, and has always had, really, the Bernstein advantage against McAllister. These are updated numbers now, 10 for 19 against Zach.
I think Victor might send a town car over to get McAllister to make sure he makes it to the ballpark on nights when he's starting.
Wouldn't hurt.
Make sure he gets here.
Here is J.D. Martinez. Tigers have 3 hits in this inning. That caught stealing of Gose, though, turns out to be huge.
Perfect example of why Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez are so special. You got a couple of guys that can hit the ball into the seats, but you also had a couple of guys taking a couple of lousy singles the opposite way just to keep the chain moving for J.D. Martinez.
And we'll see if J.D. can cash in here. He leads the team in total bases early on with 11. He's got a couple of home runs. 2 on and 2 out, just underway here in Cleveland. Game 1 in this series. And Martinez shoots one to third on a line right at Chisenhall to end the inning.
He's not fooling many people.
No runs, 3 hits, 2 left. Here come the Indians in the bottom of the first. Bottom of the first, their starting lineup presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers today. It'll be Michael Bourne, Jason Kipnis, Michael Brantley in your top 3. Of course, Brantley killed the Tigers last year. Santana, Moss, Gomes in the middle of their lineup. Murphy, Chisenhall, and the shortstop Jose Ramirez. And the Tigers starting pitcher today is Alfredo Simon. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And look at his numbers from last year. 32 starts for the Reds. He made an all-star team. 127 strikeouts, 56 base on balls. He's got an assortment of different pitches. The fastball about 95, but he's got a slider, a curve, a splitter, and he'll throw them all at any point in time.
Well, the umpires are convening here. Something's going on in the field. And it looked like Dan Iasonia, the second base umpire, came trotting in to talk to the home plate ump, Lance Barrett.
There's a bird in the outfield that appears to be injured.
I think J.D. Martinez noticed it, and now here comes the grounds crew to help the injured bird. Easy, fellas. Up. This might take a while. Yep. This is not going to be easy. Ah, nicely done. Nice round of applause for the handling of the injured bird. Never thought I'd utter those words today. Well, here's Michael Bourne now. He's settling in. Bourne, the leadoff man, off to a 3 for 13 start. Numbers last year, 257. He really has not approached the numbers that he put up in Houston ever since coming to the Indians. Of course, he's been on the disabled list a few times. Simon goes to work, and he'll deliver a strike 0-1.
They're expecting big things out of Michael Bourne this year. He really had a good spring training out in the Cactus League in Arizona. injury-free, which is key, as you brought up.
Previously, 3 trips to the disabled list for Bourne before this year. We'll shoot that one to center field, a base hit. And just like the Indians wanted, the leadoff man is on.
Let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. It's presented to you by Bill Fox Chevrolet. In left field, you have Yoenis Cespedes, Gose in center field. J.D. Martinez, he's in right field. Ian Kinsler, .988 fielding percentage last year, 3rd among American League second basemen, so he's got tremendous amount of range at second.
Pretty good matchup if Bourne is thinking of running. Alex Avila, one of the better catchers last year and throwing out base runners in the American League.
Simon is a big fellow. We've well documented that. He's about 6'6", about 260 pounds, but he's pretty athletic for a guy that's that size, and he has a decent move over to first base.
Jason Kipnis batting in the 2 spot, looks at a strike.
They really need Jason Kipnis to step up and perform this year like he did a couple of years ago when he was an all-star, but he was injured last year and really just couldn't get on track.
No, he'd gotten off to a pretty decent start too, but then the injury came. It was an oblique injury, which really kind of hampered him most of the season. Way outside. 1 ball, 1 strike on Kipnis. But we have seen what he can do. I mean, he's a guy that can hit for average. He can drive the ball to the gaps. He can drive the ball over the boards.
He can steal your base as well. Stole 20 bases last year.
Bourne draws the throw, gets back in standing up. You see just how windy it is. The uniforms on most of these guys out there ruffling in the breeze today. And again, it's blowing out toward right field. Rather stiff breeze.
Otherwise, just a beautiful afternoon.
Plenty of sunshine today. That's in the air towards center. Gose cruising back. Man, is he smooth. And Bourne back to first base. 1 out, and that'll bring up one of the better hitters in the game now, Michael Brantley. Brantley did not play in their final game against the Houston Astros. Been bothered by a bad back, had some inflammation in his low back. He was checked out by a doctor today and was, I guess, given a clean bill of health because he's in the lineup. And he is feasted against Simon, 6 for 9 against Alfredo.
And Simon is not the only Detroit Tigers pitcher he's feasted on.
Yeah, Brantley last year hit .405 versus Detroit. You know, Rob, when Brantley first came up and came over to the Indians, we thought pretty solid big league player. I mean, did you expect him to blossom into the hitter that he is?
No, I did not. He's emerged into an all-star, a guy that was in the MVP conversation, finishing behind Victor Martinez and Mike Trout last year for 3rd in the ballot. Not a lot of moving parts as far as his swing is concerned.
Runner goes, throw down to second, the tag in time, and out of there is Bourne. So both catchers showing off early in this game.
And real nice footwork here by Avila. Really nice exchange, getting to a nice arm slot and throwing a strike to Iglesias to apply the tag to Michael Bourne.
Bourne attempting to steal his first of the year is cut down by Avila. So 2 outs, base is empty now for Brantley. Strike called to the outer edge, 0-2.
Brantley didn't have a full spring training because of the back issues he was having. Only about 20-25 bats during the course of spring training. Ty Van Berkeley told me, the hitting coach, but he's a guy like Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez. Those guys don't need a lot of reps to really get themselves into game shape because they don't have lots of moving parts as far as their swings are concerned.
Brantley so far this year is 0 for 4. Waiting on deck is Carlos Santana, the Indians' first baseman. Here's the 1-2 now to Brantley. Popped up. Shallow left field. Cespedes coming in, calling for it. And that's going to be it. No runs, a hit, nobody left. We go to the second. Your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. By Dodge, come in for high-powered deals during the Dodge Awards season event. And by Dean's Country Fresh Ice Cream Squares, get real. Back here in Cleveland, Rod, I could see you playing the accordion.
You think?
I can just see it, man. Rocking the accordion or the trumpet.
That cat in the middle is cool, isn't it?
They all are. The dude on the right. That's pretty cool, too. Sights and sounds of opening day here in Cleveland, their home opener. And the Tigers now have Yoenis Cespedes leading it off in the second.
20 pitches by McAllister in the very first inning. The majority of those were fastballs. The Tigers, no doubt, know that that's what they're going to get most often from him.
Rolled on the ground to the shortstop. Gobbled up there by Ramirez. One out. Cespedes retired. And that'll bring up Nick Castellanos. Slow start from Nick at the dish. He's 1 for 10, coming off a .259 season in which he knocked in 66. Nick had a triple in the ballgame yesterday, his first hit of the season. He'll drive that one toward left field, and it's going to drop. Base hit. It's a one-out single for Castellanos. The Tigers now have 4 hits already. Well, don't forget to stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game when we select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers Player of the Game, presented by the 2 for $5 Classic Quarter Pounder with Cheese. Tiger Player of the Game coming up. Tigers Live postgame. Here's Alex Avila. Well, Avila's off to a nice start. He's 4 for 8 this year. He has scored 5 times, and that leads the Tigers here early in the season. Here's the strike call. They also shift against Avila. Typically, the second baseman would go to the grass, but with the runner at first base, Kipnis remains on the infield dirt. Here's the 0-1. I've seen Avila go the other way quite a bit early in this season.
He's got really good balance right now at the plate. You can tell just by the knees being slightly bent that he's got some nice balance on the balls of his feet. And one of the things that Alex will do during the course of this year, he's not going to do it here, but he will attempt to bunt down that third baseline if they continue to shift on him all year. And I would expect they will shift on him all season.
And again, Avila goes the other way, this time foul down the third base line. 0-2 on Alex. Iglesias will be next. These are 2 teams that will play a 3-game series here. The Indians last year were 85 and 77. They finished in 3rd place. 5 games back. And there is Terry Francona, the fine skipper of the Indians in his 3rd season. You see his numbers there. 1-2 on Avila.
Yeah, Terry, one of the more popular managers in baseball. He's a great communicator, known as a player's manager.
Well, he won a couple of world championships in Boston with the Red Sox, and has come here to Cleveland and done some pretty good work. He's made them contenders, no question. Brad Ausmus in his 2nd year skippering the Tigers. Low and in, and that evens the count now. 2-2 on Avila. Bottom of the order has done some really good work. Avila's done nice work. So is the guy on deck. Iglesias off to a nice start. That has helped keep the Tigers offense motoring early. The 2-2 just off the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Man, Avila will take some close pitches, won't he?
He walked quite a bit last year. You brought that up the very first day of the year. He's got a good eye. Now, if you're Brad, you can start Castellanos over at first base. You know that Avila's more than likely going to get a fastball, which he should be able to put in play. And if he's able to put it in play, you stay out of the double play by starting Castellanos from first base on the 3-2 pitch.
Castellanos holding, and it's strike 3 called. Avila caught looking.
Good thing he was holding.
2 gone. Second strikeout from McAllister. And here's why Avila was beefing. Looked a little bit outside. That'll bring up Iglesias. Gose batting .259 2 years ago. That was the 13 season. But this year, after missing all of last year, off to a torrid start. 6 for 11. One on Iglesias. How about all the strikeouts the Indians staff put together? That Houston team, we know, will strike out with the best of them, but that was pretty impressive.
Well, they've got a team that's going to strike out a lot of people. They did as much last year, especially with their starters. They got 4 guys that are 95 and above, led by Corey Kluber, who won a Cy Young last year.
In that 3-game series against the Astros, the Cleveland staff struck out 36. 28 of those by the starters.
He had 16 of those yesterday. Trevor Bauer, who started the game, had 11 of those strikeouts, but he also walked 5.
Iglesias pops it in the air to shallow left field. Ramirez, the shortstop, is back. Tough play. Ball drops. Everybody is safe. Brantley couldn't quite get there. Ramirez made the call but couldn't pull it in. They ruled it a base hit.
And Ramirez and Brantley talking about it now. Ramirez called it right away. So basically he was telling Brantley that he caught it, he had it, but then all of a sudden out of the corner of his eye he saw Michael Brantley right there, so he was not able to make the play.
Break there for the Tigers. We'll see if they can take advantage now as Gose stands in. And that is 5 hits already now for the Tigers. And while that wasn't a hit, and this is an Indians team that really struggled defensively last year, they committed more errors than any team in baseball.
And they really haven't changed their personnel very much from a season ago.
Gose had an infield single back in the first and then was caught stealing later in the inning. Ball 1 low.
Brantley's got a good arm in left field. He's also playing very shallow with the left-handed Gose up there, who does not have a lot of power in that direction. So Dave Clark, the third base coach, will have to think about it if he wants to score Castellanos on a base hit. Bourne in center field, Murphy in right field. They've got maybe a touch below average arms.
1 ball, 1 strike. There's Murphy out in right field. Bourne, the center fielder. Here's the 1-1. Little soft line drive to right field, base hit. Murphy will charge it. Castellanos rounding third to score, and yet another hit for Anthony Gose. This drives in a run, and the Tigers take a 1-0 lead. 2-out RBI hit by Anthony Gose.
It's a cut fastball inside that appeared to crowd Gose. He didn't hit it on the sweet part of the bat, but got enough of it to hit it in the shallow right field. And because he didn't hit it very hard, there was no issue for Castellanos to score. Those 2-out RBIs are golden.
Yes, they are. And boy, that pop-up that should have been caught by Ramirez falls in, keeping the inning alive. And Gose now has his 4th RBI of the season already. They'll bring up Ian Kinsler. Runners at the corners for Kinsler, who struck out in the first inning. Iglesias falling down at third base, but he just got back in there.
Where's he going anyway?
I have no idea. He was scrambling down the line, then lost his footing. Is he just trying to mess with McAllister?
Well, I guess he was trying to get him to commit a balk, and he nearly got picked off. McAllister nearly balked there.
Ball 1 to Kinsler. You do have to be awake down at first base with Gomes behind the dish. He will throw behind the runner. A standing throwing arm. Already has thrown a runner out today. Popped up foul, back out of play. Kinsler this year 4 for 12. He typically gets off to a really good start in the month of April. In fact, a lifetime a career .302 hitter in April. Another foul, back out of play. 1-2. I was rolling around the Tigers locker room today, and there was a couple of guys talking, saying, "Hey man, did you see the wind blowing out today?" And they were saying, "Which way is it blown out?" Blown out to right field. I mean, do you think when guys come to the ballpark, they pay attention to that stiff breeze blowing out there?
Absolutely, the players do, and the pitchers do as well. And pitchers more so than the position players.
Anything in the air out toward right field today is going to have an opportunity, and the guys in the Tigers locker room talking about it before the game today. And there are even some right-handers in this Tigers lineup that have no problem going the other way, like Cabrera and Vicker or J.D. Martinez. And his tapped foul at home plate.
I was talking to J.D. Martinez, and we were talking about his home run yesterday, and he told me that's the furthest ball he's ever hit in that direction.
Really?
He's hit balls further to center field, to left field, obviously, but to right field, where he hit that ball yesterday at Comerica Park, was awfully impressive.
Yeah, when we saw it on the replay yesterday during the telecast, to see it go halfway up the seats at Comerica Park, it really was impressive.
Left-handers with power don't hit balls that far at Comerica Park to right field. Here's that homer yesterday by J.D. Martinez, if you happen to miss it. We'll get it for you.
If you did miss it, trust us, it was a laser.
And it was a loud sound.
Now the 1-2. Line drive to center field. Michael Bourne will run it down. He hit it hard, but straight at him. Tigers will settle for a run. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Ours brings you the big money encounter, and in this feature we want to talk about the Tigers pitching staff. The fewest earned runs allowed this season. Tigers have not allowed an earned run so far this year.
Outstanding starts by David Price, Anibal Sanchez, and how about Shane Green yesterday?
Really impressive, and maybe the most impressive thing about Green was the pace he was working with.
Jeff Jones, a stellar pitching coach of the Tigers, really appreciates the efforts of all of his pitchers.
Carlos Santana will lead it off against Alfredo Simon. Santana batting in the cleanup slot for the Indians. And a strike is called. 0-1.
He homered on his birthday just a couple of days ago. And Mario, this guy has in 5 seasons in the big leagues 3 home runs on his birthday. And I was joking with him around the cage earlier today. I said, why don't you just think that every day is your birthday? He had a big smile on his face.
Well, he's had another really good year, coming off a good season. This is one of the guys, Rod, we talk about every year who's very selective at the plate. He led the league in walks last season.
The one thing they would like to see him do is they'd like to see him cut down his swing with 2 strikes, especially with runners in scoring position, but he just can't do that. That's the kind of swing that he takes throughout the entire at-bat. He never makes an adjustment with 2 strikes.
Which is the case right now, 1-2.
And here's a slow breaking ball thrown by Simon, and you could tell that he's trying to hit it out of the ballpark.
Santana 2 out of 10 to start the year. He is homered, a couple of RBIs, and the 1-2. Simon missed it outside. 113 base on balls last year. That was a club record for switch hitters. There was one of the new acquisitions, Brandon Moss, waiting on deck. Really, the Indians didn't do a whole lot in the offseason. Low, 3-2. They picked up Moss, who's on deck, Gavin Floyd, who's on the DL, but that's pretty much it. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And he lost him. Surprise, surprise, another walk for Santana. Leadoff man on, second base runner of the game now for the Indians, and that'll bring up Brandon Moss.
Well, one of the things that you have to do here if you're Simon, you do not have to go inside the Moss. He's got tremendous pull power to right field, so you want to make him hit the ball to left field. If he goes out in that direction, so be it, but don't give him anything that he can turn on.
Nick Castellanos has vacated third base. He has moved to the right side of the infield. He's playing between Cabrera and Kinsler. Wide open stands for Moss, who is still looking for his first hits of the year. He is 0 for 10. And this after hitting 5 home runs this spring for the Indians. Remember 2 years ago, the Tigers couldn't get him out.
To save their lives, they couldn't get him out.
Remember the Athletics at that time.
He hit 5 home runs in a 4-game series.
I wonder how much of that comes into play when you're looking to acquire guys in the offseason, how they've done against certain opponents within your division.
I think that's huge, and that's a great point. I think the Indians look at guys like Moss, guys that have had success against some of the Tigers pitching, knowing they're going to see the Tigers 19 times. I know they did that with David Murphy last year, who's playing right field for them, and he was playing for Texas. He had really good numbers against the Tigers, and Murphy had good numbers in this ballpark, so they definitely look at the numbers, especially with all the organizations that are looking at all the statistical data these days.
2 balls, 1 strike on Brandon Moss. Nobody out. Leadoff man on here in the second for the Indians. Bouncing ball right side, right at Castellanos, who spins to second one, and the relay is in time. A double play. How about that? That double play goes 5-6-3, and that was a nice feed from Castellanos.
Nice pitch as well. It's a 2-seam fastball tailing away from Moss, but he pulled it to Castellanos. Castellanos got it to Iglesias, and Iglesias stayed in there and was able to take some of the brunt of that slide from Santana.
When you shift, as teams will do against these left-handed batters, one of the things is that it creates a problem in turning double plays, but Castellanos smiling about that one. Very nicely done. Yan Gomes now with the bases empty. Strike one to Gomes. 2 hits in 12 at bats so far this year. Very good season last year for Cleveland. 21 home runs for Gomes. Here's the 0-1. High fly ball, left field play. Cespedes to his left. And that is that for Cleveland. No runs, a walk, nobody left. Game changer looks like this last season against the Indians, Rod. This quartet awfully good.
Yeah, they tore up try pitching. The Cleveland Indians, they've got a decent team and they could beat up on a lot of teams, but this very reason right here is the reason why they don't do all that well against the Tigers.
Well, the right-hander McAllister has Cabrera to deal with, then Martinez and Martinez. 3, 4, and 5 in the Detroit lineup today.
He started Miggy off with a little breaking ball at 88 miles an hour. He has not thrown many breaking balls here today.
The 0-1 bounces in and the count goes to 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers won 11 of the 19 between these two ball clubs last year, and a lot of them, in fact, a total of 9 games were decided by 2 runs or less. Here's the 1-1. That stays high. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, 3 breaking balls in a row. If you're Miguel, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a fastball here, and it's going to be in the mid-90s if McAllister decides to throw you a fastball.
Yep. Here it comes. Way inside, almost clipped it. 3-1. Cabrera had a single in his first at bat. One pitch is fouled back out of play. Full count on Cabrera.
He's a big man, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Just amazing. That's a great pitch right there by McAllister, but Miggy able to spoil it.
Cabrera, the MVP of the American League in 2012 and 13, and if he stays healthy this year, looks to be in that race again. Bouncer back up the middle. Ramirez can't get it into center field, and a 2-for-2 day for Cabrera. So the Tigers get the leadoff man on for the second time.
We're going to make that our bell tire pitch by pitch. First 3 pitches to Miguel Cabrera, all breaking balls thrown by McAllister. Then he falls behind Miggy, and Gomes wants the fastball inside, but he misses with it. One good pitch down and away, and then Miggy hits the ball right back up the middle by shortening up his swing.
So Martinez, who has a single, stands in. Tigers have had at least one base runner in each inning so far in this game against McAllister. Victor now 3 out of 11. He did some damage in an Indians uniform in his years here. .299 career with the Tribe, made 3 All-Star teams. Did over 100 home runs for Cleveland. Strike called. 1-1 on Victor.
There were a lot of rumors that were circulating in the offseason after Victor became a free agent that the Cleveland Indians had some interest in bringing him back, a place where he started his major league career, but Victor really didn't want to play anywhere else but Detroit. And he told Mr. Ilitch that when they were celebrating at the end of the season. He simply told Mr. Ilitch in Brad Ausmus's office, you know what, I want to come back to Detroit.
Talk like that doesn't really excite your agent because they're trying to get you the best deal, but he kind of tipped his hand saying, yeah, I want to come back. We'll work it out.
Yeah, but Mr. Ilitch is a great owner, and there's no doubt he takes care of all of his players, whether you're a superstar or not. And congratulations to the Red Wings. They've gotten into the playoffs again for the 24th consecutive year.
Yeah, they did it last night. We were following that game on the plane as we were waiting to take off from Detroit to Cleveland. So congratulations to the Wings.
24 years in a row.
Is that a lot?
That's a lot.
1-2. Victor Martinez. Two now on Victor. Martinez, a member of the Indians from 02 to 09, where his career really blossomed, put himself on the map, was always a really good hitter in the Indians minor league system, won batting titles.
Career 300 hitter from the left side and the right side, which is rare. It's tough enough to maintain one side at this level.
We'll get back out of play. Tigers have 3 here against the Indians. Then they're on to Pittsburgh to play 3. J.D. Martinez waiting his turn on deck. Tigers so far have gotten Alfredo Simon a run. They're looking for more here in the third. Alfredo has got himself a double play ball. He's been good through 2 innings so far. Another foul back out of play.
Tigers have the kind of lineup that can stress out any starting pitcher because they're just so talented, and most of the guys have quality at bats. Already 53 pitches thrown by McAllister, and he doesn't have an out in the 3rd inning.
And especially when you face a guy like Martinez, who, based on last year, was just one of those guys that did not give up a pitch, let alone an at bat.
And if you throw him outside, he'll take that base hit the opposite way.
Swing and a miss. That time McAllister got him to leave the strike zone.
You know, we were talking about J.D. Martinez a couple of innings ago and the couple of home runs that he hit this season, a couple of massive home runs. Let's take a look at Monday's home run against the Minnesota Twins. This ball is over the out-of-town scoreboard about 400 feet from home plate. But this one yesterday, he told me the furthest ball he's ever hit to right field, about 20 rows deep to straightaway right field, and he hit that ball on the line.
Big time power, strong kid. And he fouls it straight back. I still get a kick out of the shots that we get of JD in the dugout with his book out and just taking notes of what opposing pitchers have done to him.
I still remember that huge home run he hit last year here against Allen, Cody Allen, their closer to straightaway center field. I think he was a pinch hitter that day.
He had 7 home runs that were hit late in games last year. That one is skied to right field, staring into the sunlight as Murphy drifted. Had a little trouble with it, but stayed with it. And there are 2 gone.
For the Tigers, they hitter, number 52.
And that's going to bring up Yoenis Cespedes.
He got Cespedes out his first time up, grounding out to the shortstop on a really slow breaking ball that Yoenis was fooled on. He got on that front foot, was not able to hold up his swing. He'll probably get a breaking ball or 2 in this sequence.
Cespedes hitting in each of the first 3 that he has played in this year for the Tigers. Strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. Cespedes, an all-star last year, was able to put together a really strong season, a career high in hits last year. That is a shallow pop into right field. Looks like trouble, and it will drop. Base hit. Cespedes goes the other way. Cabrera able to slide in safely at third base. First and third now with 2 outs.
Very encouraging to watch Miguel Cabrera running on contact here, but just able to run the bases. It doesn't look like that foot's bothering him at all. It's cold weather out here at the beginning of the year, but no visible limp at all by the big fella.
So the Tigers have a pair of singles here. Now Castellanos will try and drive in a 2-out run, not before a meeting on the mound between Gomes and McAllister.
Well, Gomes is simply out there to remind McAllister that Castellanos loved to swing at the very first pitch, as he did his first time up when he singled to left field.
Tigers are already now with 8 hits in this ball game. They have really begun to pile them up. Yet to this point, they've scored only once.
I think this might be the best offense in all of baseball. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I watch them every day. I root for the Tigers, but I cannot think of another offense that is as good and as deep as the Tigers offense. A lot of people are talking about the Toronto Blue Jays, but I'm not buying it just yet.
Well, the early returns will back up what you're saying. Here are some of the major league ranks so far this year.
Yeah, and that's where they finished last year with all those ranks too.
Tigers outscored the Twins 22-1 in that 3-game series. One ball, 1 strike. And for as well as the Indians did against the Astros, they pretty much rode their pitching. Now, they didn't have a whole lot of offense going on in their series win against Houston. 60 pitches already for McAllister. Bouncing ball to short, and Ramirez has it there. That'll end the threat. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Here comes the bottom of the third. The Chicago White Sox at Comerica Park coming up on Friday, April 17th at 1:08. The first 10,000 fans receive a free April in the D fleece beanie courtesy of Fox Sports Detroit. For tickets, call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. Of course, yesterday, the lovely Angela, one of the Fox Sports Detroit girls, was modeling that beanie. So there you go.
Yeah, that beanie would come in handy today.
That it would, with the wind howling this afternoon. Chilly day, although it is very sunny here in Cleveland. And a very nice turnout for opening day here in Progressive Field. David Murphy leads it off for the Indians as we go to the bottom of inning number 3 here in Cleveland. Murphy, Chisenhall, then Jose Ramirez. 262 season last year for Murphy. Checked it outside, 1-1. Murphy joined the Indians after 7 years with the Texas Rangers. Two balls, one strike. Simon gave up a single in the first, a walk in the second, but no damage. There's a bouncer out the middle. He's now given up a single here in the third. The leadoff man is out. Well, we have a chance time for game break. Back to the studio we go in Mickey York. All right, Mick. leave it to Mickey York to stir the pot. I have got no further comments. Here is Lonnie Chisenhall now with the leadoff single by Murphy. Chisenhall batting .280. Last season he was batting .280. 2 for 9 this year. And he looks at ball one outside.
And when the season began last year, Chisenhall was on the bench. But when they gave him an opportunity to play, he just hit. And he rode that all the way through the season as their starting third baseman. But boy, did he really struggle the second half of the year.
Kind of fell off the cliff. 332 to 218. A major difference. But you were just waiting for that season in which Chisenhall, I guess, would put it together where he would play every day because he was always so highly thought of.
Yeah, former #1 draft choice. And Terry Francona, his co-pilot, Brad Mills. Those guys have been buddies for a long, long time. They played college baseball together at the University of Arizona.
The 1-1 is swung on.
And every manager's job Terry Francona has gotten, his sidekick has been right there next to him.
There, by the way, is Tito's bubblegum bucket because he will go through that thing like nobody else. One and two. We were talking about Kevin Cash, who's the new manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, and of course was Francona's bullpen coach here the last couple of years. Said he learned a lot from Francona. The one thing he will not take with him, though, is the 90 pieces of bubblegum that he chews on a daily basis. Whether that's a nervous habit or not, Francona will go through quite a few. There's another foul by Chisenhall.
He got away with a hanging split-fingered fastball there. Really good swing by Chisenhall, and he missed it. And Chisenhall knows it. Now, this one was sitting on the tee for Lonnie.
It was screaming, wasn't it?
It sure was.
Leadoff single here in the third by Murphy. Tigers got a run on the RBI hit by Gose in the second. And this outside.
And pitch count in outstanding shape for Alfredo. He's just throwing 30. And we've already told you that McAllister, the starter for the Tribe today, is already up to 60 pitches thrown through 3 innings.
Here's the breakdown for Simon. And meanwhile, Chisenhall continues to give him fits. Another one back in the seats. Indians, we mentioned, won 85 last year after winning 92 games in a wild card spot in 2013. So they took a little bit of a step back last year in terms of victories, but certainly they were in the race. Swing and a miss, and Simon got him to leave the strike zone. Alfredo has his first strikeout of the game. Here's Jose Ramirez. Hit .262 last year after taking over as their full-time shortstop in late July. Bouncing ball right side. Kinsler goes to second. There's one. That's all we get. Iglesias will hold on to it. Good hard slide at second base by Murphy.
It's a nice feed by Ian Kinsler, but it's a wise decision by Iglesias just to eat the baseball. He was not going to double up Ramirez.
That'll bring up Michael Bourne. Simon, by the way, through the first time through in the lineup for the Indians, 7 of 9 at first pitch strikes. And Bourne had a single back at the first. He'll dig in. Tigers last year in the offseason gave up Eugenio Suarez and Jonathan Crawford in the deal to get Alfredo Simon. They went to the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Simon, one of those guys that you got to get early. The first time through, batting average really not that bad at .261, but it starts to inch its way down the second and third times through.
Usually goes the other way.
It does.
Simon convinced that he has to keep Ramirez as close as possible.
And Brad handles the running game, as you would imagine. Catching 18 years in the big leagues.
Runner bluffing, a ball down low to Bourne. Brad moving spots now. Hiding behind Vizquel that time. And another throw back to first base. You cannot escape the cameras, though. No matter how hard you try.
And that brings up a great point, because Brad could be going through all those signs that he's doing there, and he might not even be the one relaying the signs to Avila. I mean, that's just how the game is these days. I mean, it could be Omar Vizquel, who was standing right next to him with his hands, folded, or his hands behind his back. I'm just saying anything. I mean, anything could be going on down there, because the other team is trying to steal your signs as well.
Maybe adjust the cap, put your hands behind your back.
It could be Jeff Jones right there on the railing there. That's kind of the guy that's, they're focusing on.
Pitch out, but nothing going on there.
That's the second time this year that Brad has pitched out.
That has run the count to 2-1.
Brad all bundled up today.
Runner bluffs again, rolled foul, and the count evens now 2-2.
It's a good count to run on here if you're Ramirez. There's 2 outs. Bourne is the leadoff hitter. If you get thrown out, he's leading off next half inning. And on top of that, more than likely, this is going to be some kind of a breaking ball or a splitter down the bottom of the zone. So it's a good pitch to run on.
Swing and a miss. Bourne goes down on strikes, and Simon takes care of it himself. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Alfredo Simon. 2 for the ball game. Tigers still lead 1-0.
Summary in the second inning with 1 out, a single to left field by Castellanos. This is a crucial play right here. Ramirez dropped what should have been the 3rd out of the inning, a pop-up by Iglesias in the shallow left field, and then Gose comes up with a big 2-out knock to drive in a run in the second inning. The only run scored in this contest.
Yeah, that has been it. The Tigers, when you look at the scoreboard, they have 8 hits, but only 1 run. And so they will go back to work now here in the 4th inning. It'll be Alex Avila starting it off, facing Zach McAllister, and Avila takes ball 1. Iglesias and then Anthony Gose to follow here in the 4th inning. Here's the 1-0 offering. And it stays up and a little bit outside of the strike zone.
He called Avila out on that pitch his first time up today. Lance Barrett is the home plate umpire this afternoon.
Way outside, 3 balls, no strikes.
And with that wind blowing out the way that it is to right field, Avila just might have the green light here. 3 balls, no strikes. That doesn't mean that he will swing, but you might want to take one shot at it if you can get one up in that jet stream blowing out to right.
He'll take, and it goes 3-1. Playing to pull on the infield against Avila. There's Kipnis on the grass in short right. And another strike on Alex. Run it full now, 3-2. Avila not convinced that was a strike.
Well, if you're Alex, if the ball is even close on this next pitch from McAllister, you better be swinging.
There's Iglesias waiting on deck. And he lost him, ball 4. Avila gets yet another walk. And so the Tigers now put the leadoff man on in 3 of the first 4 innings, as Avila walks for the 4th time this year, which is a team high. Here's Iglesias.
And Chisenhall, third baseman, anticipating possible bunt down in his direction from Iglesias. And he's in front of the bag at third.
He's showing bunt, and he lays it to third base. Chisenhall got to hurry. Got him by a step. That'll advance the runner. Sacrifice on that play. 5-3 on the putout. 1 gone.
Here's a nice example of what you're taught to do when you're bunting. This ball's up in the strike zone. So what you do is you get your bat at a certain level, which is up at the top of the strike zone. Now anything above where this ball is right here, you just pull your bat back and you don't bunt it. But because you had your bat up at that particular angle, you're simply able to deaden it by bending the knees. And that textbook, that's perfect right there.
Well, here is Gose to try and drive in the run. He knocked one in back in the second. 2 for 2 today for Gose. This got Anthony's average up to 615 now. He's had 8 hits in the early going here.
And with each hit that Gose gets, his confidence level just goes up.
There it is, 6:15. Take a picture. His confidence level has to be soaring, and it probably started spring training when he had such a good month of March. Coming to a different organization and trying to kind of find your way and prove that you should be an everyday player.
And sometimes it just takes a different voice. In this case, Wally Joyner and David Newhand, 2 hitting coaches of the Tigers.
Even a miss. Brad has said that against the majority of right-handed pitchers it'll be Gose, and against most lefties it'll be Rajay Davis, and you really can't go wrong with either one of those guys. In many ways they do a lot of the same things, creating havoc on the bases. Swing and a miss, and Gose goes down that time. 2 outs. Well, every weeknight, don't miss MLB Whip Around on Fox Sports 1 with highlights, instant analysis, and live look-ins from around the league. MLB Whip Around is weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. The best show to get you updated and keep you updated on what's going on around the major leagues. Here's Kinsler now with 2 outs. 4 strikeouts now for Zach McAllister. That's in there for a strike.
And a good cut fastball at 88 and thrown by McAllister. He's been in that stretch all afternoon long.
Yeah, it seems like it. Tigers had a couple of base runners, 3 of them in the first inning, 3 more in the second. He's not had an inning in which he's been able to cruise. Pitch count up to 75 now, and we are just in the 4th inning. Indians bullpen will be counted on in this one. Here's the breakdown on McAllister. Fouled straight back. Kinsler a strikeout and a fly out of this game, 0 for 2. Made his 4th All-Star team last year in his first season with the Tigers. Of course, the other 3 came with the Rangers. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tigers had 5 All-Stars last year of their 25-man roster. David Price made an All-Star team. Did Kinsler, as you mentioned, Miggy, Victor, and Yoenis Cespedes. 5 of the 25.
Big Price going tomorrow.
It's going to be fun to watch tomorrow. You don't want to miss that one.
Price and Kluber tomorrow here from Cleveland. Bouncer right back up the middle. That'll be a tough play and no play for Kipnis. Taking third is Avila. That'll be an infield hit for Kinsler. So the hits just keep on coming for the Tigers.
And Kipnis showed some nice range trying to circle this ball and get around it, which would give his momentum a better chance at throwing out Kinsler. But even if he would have made the play cleanly, I don't think he gets in. Not with Ian's speed.
So Avila is able to take third on that play. The Tigers now have 9 hits, and we'll get a visit to the mound. Mickey Callaway coming out to talk with McAllister.
I'm going to talk to him about a couple of things. They're, one, going to get someone up in their bullpen, and 2, they want to make sure that the way that they pitch to Miguel Cabrera here is with a lot of caution.
By the way, Tigers 15-game season ticket plans are on sale right now. You can choose the plan that's right for you and enjoy exclusive season ticket holder benefits. Call 313-471-BALL. Or if you'd like, visit Tigers.com and take part in the 15-game season ticket plans. They're on sale now for Tigers baseball.
And a lot of times Miguel, when there's runners in scoring position, he likes to swing at the very first fastball that he sees. And that may be one of the things that Mickey Callaway went out there to refresh his memory on Miguel Cabrera.
A couple of hits today for Miguel, both singles, trying to extend the Tigers' 1-0 lead. We're in the 4th inning.
Because he's not going to pitch around Mickey, not with Victor behind him. And Victor hit about 400 against McAllister. Mickey did get that first pitch fastball, but he's a little tardy on it.
The 0-1. Drilled to center field, a base hit. 3rd hit of the game for Cabrera. That will score Avila. And the Tigers lead 2-0.
He is so special. I mean, he is special. And back-to-back fastballs thrown by McAllister. This one he tried to get up in the strike zone, but Mickey able to climb the ladder and get on top of it and get himself a solid single right back up the middle. Just tremendous balance and concentration, and he's amazing. He really is.
And he's 3 for 3 today, and that is an even 10 hits now for the Tigers. As Cabrera gets his 3rd RBI of the season. And let's take some activity now for the Indians. That would be Anthony Swarzak warming up.
Former Minnesota Twin.
Yeah. Now residing in the Indians' pen. So here is Victor Martinez. 2 on, 2 out. Good block by Gomes. 1-0.
He's giving Victor a steady diet of off-speed pitches all afternoon. Everybody else fastballs, but a lot of breaking balls to Victor.
He got Victor to chase a pitch out of the strike zone his last time up. Struck him out. 1 for 2 this afternoon. Just been a fist fight for McAllister all day long. I mean, he's limited the damage, but he's given up 10 hits. A lot of traffic all day long on the bases. There's a bouncing ball. Base hit left field. That'll get through. That'll score Kinsler, and the Tigers have added another. They lead 3-0.
It's one of the reasons why I don't understand why so many teams with runners in scoring position, they still want to shift with Victor in the batter's box, a guy that had a lot of hits the opposite way. You can see they're playing out of position. And with 2 strikes and 2 outs, Victor Martinez, he is simply going to try to hit the ball through that vacated hole, which he's able to do successfully.
So Martinez now 2 out of 3. That is his 2nd RBI of the year. Tigers up by a 3 spot.
Victor and Miggy, who got off to somewhat slow starts in that 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins, they've got 5 knocks between them today.
J.D. Martinez. J.D. has hit the ball hard twice in this game, but he's 0 for 2.
No let up in this lineup.
I mean, pitchers typically, when they look at the opposing lineup, they know that once they hit the middle of the lineup, all right, you're going to have to bear down. But with the Tigers lineup, when you get to 6, you can't bear down. Right. You still have to. You can't breathe because you've got Cespedes. Then with the way Avila has gone off to a nice start, Iglesias has gone off to a nice start.
And now you got J.D. Martinez sitting in a 2-0 count.
It's just so hard to catch your breath. There's Ioannis waiting on deck. And we'll see how J.D. is able to deal with this 2-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Terry Francona watched his team put up some outstanding pitching in that series against the Astros. And McAllister has had his struggles here today. There's a strike called on Martinez. 2-2. Well, this is not a good sign, is it?
No, it's not. It's one of the reasons why they feel like Zach McAllister better suited for the bullpen than the starting rotation.
Runner breaks to third base, and he's in there standing up, no problem. So Miguel Cabrera just kind of strolls into third.
Yeah, McAllister just forgot all about him, and they're playing really deep at their respective positions.
3-2 the count on J.D. Martinez. Swing and a miss. That'll end the inning. 5 strikeouts for McAllister. Tigers add 2 more runs.
Been there and done it, and they know how to do it, and they're good, and we know that. But they're fun to play because they're good. They didn't come out of the gates real slow. I mean, when you're going over the advance report and you see guys hitting 600, that'll bring you back to reality in a hurry. They've been there and done it, and they know how to do it, and they're good, and we know that. But they're fun to play because they're good.
Those are some of the thoughts of Terry Francona, the Indians manager, prior to the game today, and he's got a pretty good point, man. You look at those scouting reports and you see guys in the 600 range. It will bring you back to earth real quickly. Even guys like Anthony Gose off to a nice start. So the Tigers have given Simon some more runs to work with here. 3-0 is our score, and there's a bullet hit right back to Alfredo. Boy, Kipnis hit a rocket, but straight at him.
He might have to check his britches after that one.
It's a pretty good play here.
Big Alfredo Simon.
Look out. Ooh, he snow-coned it too, but that's all right. Here's Michael Brantley with 1 out. Brantley flied out to left field his first time up. And it's in for a strike. Brantley, 327 last year, was an all-star, finishing 3rd in the MVP voting in the American League behind Trout and the Tigers' Victor Martinez. That one floats outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it didn't even register as far as the speed was concerned. Here's his eephus. Eephus split finger pitch at 59 miles an hour, I'm being told from our fine crew in the truck.
If I were to loosen up my arm for about a week and a half, I might be able to get it up to 59
I don't
miles
even
an
think
hour.
you have to loosen it up to do that, partner.
2 balls, 1 strike.
He threw him back-to-back eephus pitches.
He's falling behind, though. Brantley waiting. And he sends one high in the air to right field, playable. JD Martinez staring into the sunlight. 2 up, 2 down. And they'll bring up Carlos Santana. Well, you got to be impressed with what the newcomers have given the Tigers, whether it's Gose or Shane Green or Cespedes, and now Alfredo Simon doing some good work here in his first start.
And the president, CEO, and general manager David Nabrowski did some nice things in the offseason. I'm sure he has a lot of people that he relies on heavily. His assistant general manager, Al Avila, is one, but he's got a lot of scouts that watch a lot of people, and they made some wise decisions in the offseason.
Santana has walked in this game. Strike 1. Simon working quickly. How about this? He tries to bunt it down the third base line with the shift on. That looked interesting.
You know, with nobody on and 2 outs, I mean, he has the kind of power that he can hit the ball in the seat. So if there's nobody out, it's probably a little better to bunt. But this particular situation, probably not the best situation to take advantage of a bunt.
Meanwhile, Simon has gone ahead of the count, now 0-2. A little bit outside. Go ahead, Rob.
There's really only a handful of players the Tigers will shift on. They don't shift on that many people.
This guy's one of them. Wow. Well, Santana's beefing, but the inning started with Kipnis hitting a bullet right back to the mound as Simon was equal to the task. The ballpark, and while Rod, you and I were hibernating in the offseason, they were busy here in Cleveland. They ripped up the right field area. The bullpens now are stacked out in right center field. Bridges were coming down, and quite a few changes here to the ballpark.
I like what they've done here, and good for them. They didn't try to bite off more than they could chew, because it was a very bad winter here in some places like Chicago where the Cubs are. They couldn't get their work done.
Now here's your spot, the corner out there in right field.
Well, that looks like it's the place to be today, buddy.
No doubt. There are the bullpens now in right center field. They're stacked out there.
How about seats right there in front of the bullpen, though? If you're lucky enough to get in one of those 3 rows, you can simply turn around and watch the Indians warm up before they go into the game, or watch the starting pitcher.
Cespedes might even hit one to you. Murphy can't get it. It's up against the wall. Cespedes off to the races, and he will pull into second with a leadoff double. A rocket hit to right field, and Cespedes has his second hit.
I just love the way the Tigers' big boys today, Miggy a couple times, Victor a couple times, now Cespedes, the hits they've gotten today have all been against the traffic. These guys aren't trying to pull the ball today. Really nice approaches by the Tigers batters the first 4 games of the year.
So that is hit number 12 now, surrendered by the right-hander McAllister. The Tigers went double digits twice on the Minnesota Twins to start the year. Nick Castellanos, a single in 2 at-bats. He also has a run scored. Ball 1.
And Castellanos has got to try to drive something through the right side of the infield past Santana and Kipnis on that side to drive in Cespedes. And if he happens to hit a ground ball at one of them, he'll simply get Cespedes over to third with 1 out.
Wave and a miss, 1-1 on Castellanos.
McAllister's still throwing hard, 91 pitches in, that fastball at 95. But really, the thing about McAllister that we heard is he really doesn't have a great feel for secondary pitches, and that's why he's given up 12 hits here today.
Well, and you talked about how maybe he's better suited for the bullpen. Last year he had a really good ending to the season, a strong September, but much of that was out of the bullpen. Runner breaks for third, and it's driven to right field. Murphy going back to the track, to the wall. He looks up, and that ball is going to carry out. It's gone.
Bye-bye baseball.
Nick Castellanos has hit his first of the season, the opposite field. 2 more in for Detroit.
A 96-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by McAllister, ripped to right field. Boy, their approach today has been outstanding. It's fastball right down the middle. He just overthrows it, and look at Castellanos pull his hands inside. All Nick Castellanos was trying to do there was to hit something to right field, something to get the runner over to third. And when you play the game the right way, you get rewarded every now and then.
So Castellanos has knocked McAllister out of this game. The Tigers are 5 for 10 with men in scoring position. Wallside windows, pitching change. Indians go to the bullpen. And a couple of extra base hit swings.
Well, a guy throwing 95 miles an hour, really no need in trying to pull him, especially when he's throwing you away. And there's Cespedes goes the opposite way over Murphy's head for a double. And then you've got Castellanos clearing out the hips and taking the ball the opposite way as well. He is able to reach the seats.
First of the year for Castellanos. That'll bring up Alex Avila against the new pitcher. Kyle Crockett will come out of the bullpen for the Indians. And he slings one home down low. 1 ball, no strikes.
And Crockett drafted just a couple of years ago, but didn't take him long to get to the big leagues.
43 appearances last year out of the bullpen. Nice ERA. The opponent's .239 against Crockett last year. Avila fouls it off behind home plate. 4th round draft choice in 13 of the Cleveland Indians. Crockett, a native of Newport News, Virginia. Off the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. Avila today walked, run scored. He started that rally in the 4th inning with a base on ball. Here's the 2-1. On the outside corner, 2-2.
And Brad was talking about Avila before the game today, and he said that more than likely he would have given James McCann his first start this afternoon against the righty McAllister. But the fact that Alex is going so good right now, he decided to play Alex. He also said that he's going to have to start to get some guys some reps. He's going to have to get Romine in the game. He's going to have to get Perez in the game. He's also going to have to get Rajay Davis back in the game.
Yeah, that's the challenge certainly early in the season for managers, trying to get everybody involved. I mean, you can't break camp and sit guys for over a week. Only a 3-2 pitch. And there's another base on balls for Avila. Tigers are facing a lefty on Sunday, T.J. House.
He did say that McCann would start that game.
Now Iglesias. First 3 Tigers have reached here in the 5th. Double, homer, and a walk. 5 runs, 13 hits for Detroit. The offense has not stopped working. Ball 1 outside. Iglesias, a nice sacrifice bunt in his last at bat. He singled in his first at bat. That's in there for a strike. 1-1. So McAllister goes 4 plus 2 batters. He ended up with 5 strikeouts in this game. Gave up the home run to Castellanos. Two and 1.
It's been the middle of the Tigers batting order that has been very good today. Hitters 3, 4, 5, and 6, a combined 7 for 12 through the first 4 plus innings here. And then if you add in Castellanos, he's batting 7th. And you can tack on 2 more hits.
Bouncing ball to 3rd, glove there by Chisenhall to 2nd. There's 1, relay to 1st, in time, a double play. They just got Iglesias at first base. 5-4-3.
It's a nice feed by Chisenhall to Kipnis, and then Kipnis takes very little time getting the ball on its way to get Iglesias. Iglesias not going to hit into many double plays. He's got pretty good speed down the line.
I was going to say, I was not sure he hit into one there, but it looked like it just nipped it. No argument either. Now Anthony Gose with 2 outs. Base is empty. Another good day for Gose. 2 more hits. Got an RBI as well. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Gose has a chance here to start the season with 3 consecutive 3-hit games. He already has 2 more today. Two and 1. about that? The average now down to 571 for Gose. There's a strike on the outer edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Anthony building a little padding in that batting average the first week of the season.
It's always nice to get off to really good starts when the weather is cold, because you know once the weather warms up, that's a little bit more conducive for offensive production.
Got him there. Took it looking for strike 3. The Tigers, however, get 2 more runs on one mighty swing of the bat. Nick Castellanos goes the other way. Price period. Bell Tire. Myers, save bigs with M-Perks from Meyer. Sign up at mperks.com. And Chevrolet, find new roads. Back here in Cleveland, Tigers and the Indians opening day. There's the home of the Cleveland Cavaliers out beyond the outfield wall here.
They've got a basketball game later on here this evening.
They do indeed. So it's going to be hopping downtown here in Cleveland tonight.
I'd say about 65,000 people in the downtown area.
By the way, did you make it to that Prince concert last night?
I did not make it over there. No. I sure thought about it, though.
Hustling to the airport through the rain.
I probably would have fell asleep during the concert. Yesterday was a long day, buddy.
It was.
It was a long day yesterday.
Big Cavs fan. LeBron James jersey going there. I'm sure that's pretty popular.
Yeah, but I was talking to Brad last night when we got to the hotel, and he said he much rather preferred playing that game yesterday, even though they had to wait around all day, versus playing a split doubleheader later on in the season.
Yeah, you kind of sit there all day and you wonder, well, you know, they're going to call this off, and half of you's thinking, man, maybe they should call it off. But once July rolls around, you'll be happy they didn't.
And it was a really good thing that Shane Green was so efficient, because had he not been, they would not have been able to complete that game, because as soon as the game was over, it started to pour.
Yeah, I mean, it got over right in the nick of time. And Green was just so good yesterday. Simon back to the hill here as we play in the bottom half for the 5th inning. Tigers have extended their lead. Brandon Moss leading it off for the Indians. Moss hit into a double play his first time up. Ooh, look out. That one ate up Avila. Full count, 3-2. Moss hit into the unconventional 5-6-3 double play with the shift that they have on against him. Pulled on the ground, a foul ball just outside of the bag.
Let's check out our Comcast high-speed pitch on Alfredo Simon. 94 top fastball, then 59 with one of those ephus, split-fingered fastballs he'll throw a couple times during the course of the game.
Usually the low end on that feature is in the 80s, not the 50s. There's a high fly ball left field, hit pretty well. Cespedes going back to the track. He'll make the basket catch.
Anything hit to left field today, you've got to be a strong man to hit it off that wall or over that wall, because the wind is blowing so brisk across the diamond. It just knocked it down. And this ballpark anyway during this time of year plays pretty big. You come back in the summer, balls fly a little bit better here, but this time of year, really tough to hit it out.
So Moss now is 0 for 12 to start the new season. Here's Yan Gomes. He's swinging the first pitch and line him to third. Nice play, Castellanos. 2 up, 2 down. Let's go back to the studio now. Game break. Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. Well, the Twins managed just 1 run in 3 games against the Tigers. They've got 2 today. There's a strike called on David Murphy.
White Sox off to a sluggish start so far. They were swept in a 3-game series by the Kansas City Royals.
Ball 1 high. Here's the 1-1. Murphy hits it foul on the ground. 1-2 the count. Single for Murphy back in the third. Murphy has a little bit of power. Hit 8 home runs last year. Way outside. Simon has pitched in the American League. He was with the Orioles several years back, pitching out of their bullpen. And when he went to Cincinnati, he pitched out of their bullpen first before joining the starting rotation. Had an all-star season last year. Oh, he floats another one up there. Again in the 50s. 3-2. There really is no way not to telegraph this pitch.
He really slows down his body, slows down his arm speed.
He might just throw one up there underhand. 3-2. And then he lost it, ball 4. Murphy reaching for the second time. The second base on balls issued by Simon. And it brings up Lonnie Chisenhall. Simon today has given up just 2 hits in this contest. The Tigers had 13 hits. Alfredo has also been helped out by a double play ball. He has had a guy thrown out trying to steal. Now they'll get away from Avila to advance the runner. Wild pitch charged to Alfredo Simon. Brad Ausmus really didn't have a whole lot to complain about to start this season. Offense has been clicking, pitching, starting pitching has been outstanding. Really hasn't seen an opportunity to get too many of his relievers in games yet. It's fouled back out of play.
I think Brad also has a much better feel for managing, second year now as a Tiger skipper. He knows all of his personnel. Whereas last year, you spent the first half of the year just kind of learning your personnel, what guys could do, what guys couldn't do. It's a new coaching staff for the most part last year, and a good coaching staff.
Bouncing ball hit to the right side, backhanded by Cabrera. Simon will cover, and that is it for the Indians. 5 in the books in Cleveland.
Quite often when I say Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez are unselfish hitters. They're 5 for 6 today. Miggy first time up, base hit to right field. The next 2 times up, base hits right back up the middle against a guy that's throwing 95 miles an hour. They shift on Victor to the pull field, so what does he do? He's gotten himself 2 hits, 1 down the left field line, and the 1 right by the vacated shortstop position. So you've got a couple of guys that just aren't afraid to go the other way. And then when you make a mistake, there are a couple of guys that can beat you by hitting balls into the seats too.
Tigers have put a hurting on Cleveland pitching here today. A ton of hits, double-digit hits. And now they'll take a look at a new pitcher. Out of the bullpen is Anthony Swarzak for the Indians.
And Swarzak pitched quite a bit for the Minnesota Twins. They've seen him over the course of the last few years. Pitched in 50 games last year for Minnesota. ERA just a shade over 4.
Swarzak part of the Twins bullpen since 2009. And the rotation as well. He got a few starts along the way. Ian Kinsler starts it off now for Detroit. It'll be Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez as we go to the top of the 6th inning on Cleveland's opening day. Their home opener here. Tigers trying to spoil the party. And it's in for strike 1.
And Swarzak not overpowering. Fastball right around 89 to 92, but he's got some good command.
The Indians signed Swarzak as a free agent this past January. 50 appearances last year with Minnesota. Here's the 0-2. Kinsler pops this one in the air toward left field. And on the run, Brantley is able to catch it. 1 gone. 1 for 4 for Kinsler today.
Number 24, Miguel Cabrera.
Here's Miguel Cabrera. They've not been able to get him out this afternoon. He's 3 for 3. He also has an RBI. High fly ball toward left field, sailing toward the line. Brantley coming over, has room. 2 up and 2 down. And the driver's seat is brought to you by Kia. Here's how the voting went last year in the AL MVP, and we've got a couple of those guys in this ballpark today.
Yeah, Victor finished second behind Mike Trout. Michael Brantley finished third. The rookie, Jose Abreu, also had a marvelous year. But it was Mike Trout who finally was able to win his first MVP.
2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Victor Martinez.
Well, didn't Trout finish second back-to-back years to Cabrera?
He finally got it last year. And it is foul down the left field line. So the Indians continue to play him to pull, and Victor looked like he hurt himself a little bit there.
Something not quite right. Taking a little extra time.
Oh, 1 on Martinez. A little bit off the plate.
Take a look at this graphic here. And a couple of these guys are in the ballpark. Victor would be one, and Michael Brantley, the left fielder. They had more extra base hits last year than they had strikeouts. Jose Altuve also did it, just to give you an idea how difficult it is to do. There's only 3 guys on that list, but more extra base hits than strikeouts for all 3 of those guys.
It's a pretty astounding accomplishment.
Altuve had over 200 hits, I believe, and Michael Brantley had 197 hits. Michael had 200 hits too. Excuse me.
Yeah, he reached that plateau.
I shortchanged him.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Martinez this afternoon, 2 more singles.
I mean, there was every time there where Victor had like 20 homers and only like 20 strikeouts.
Yeah. Let alone extra base hits. We're talking homers against strikeouts. Three balls, 2 strikes on Martinez. And JD waiting on deck. Of course, Victor last year was the toughest to strike out in the American League, once every 15 plate appearances. Here's the 3-2. Right back up the middle and into center field. Base hit. There is no defensive alignment that can really stop Victor Martinez.
And not only does he hit the balls down at the bottom of the strike zone where left-handers absolutely love it, he will climb the ladder with his hands and get on top of a fastball.
Now JD Martinez. Tigers just continue to pile up the hits. They have 14. JD, though, is looking for his first of the afternoon. He's 0 for 3. And Martinez lifts this one in the air toward left field. Center fielder Bourne comes over to make the catch to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. On our way to the bottom of the 6th. What the Tigers have been able to do all season long so far to start this year. It started with Price and Sanchez and Green yesterday, and Rod Simon joining the party today.
Well, I mean, it's been pretty much the talk of the first week of the season, what their 5 starters have been able to do. And really, there's no reason to believe that their starters, maybe not at that pace that they're at right now, but there's no reason why they can't compete all year.
Well, Simon going to Hill here against Ramirez, who leads it off. And there's a strike right at the knees. 0-2 on Jose Ramirez. Michael Bourne, then Jason Kipnis in the home half of the 6th. Lifted in the air toward shallow center field. Gose coming in. Out number 1. Here's the other thing. We talked about Shane Green in first pitch strikes yesterday. Well, Simon now is 14 of 18.
Yeah, I think Green yesterday was 22 of 28 in first pitch strikes. And that's one of the things that kind of jumps out at you first time through the rotation is just how efficient all 5 guys have been. I mean, with their pitch counts.
And there's the breakdown on Simon here this afternoon. I mean, you're talking about a staff now that does not have Max Scherzer or Rick Porcello. They have both moved on. A slice toward left field, sinking. That'll be a base hit. 1-out single for Michael Bourne, his second hit here this afternoon. Fans, you know by now it is April in the D on Fox Sports Detroit. Visit the life-size bobbleheads of Detroit Tigers Victor Martinez and Ian Kinsler at the GM Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit. If you'd like more information on April in the D, visit foxsportsdetroit.com and check out those life-size bobbleheads at the GM Renaissance Center. Those guys have been playing that big so far this year. Here's Jason Kipnis. Only the 3rd hit allowed by Simon in this game. He's kept him off balance.
We've got a packed house here, but Simon's kept quiet for the most part.
They really have had nothing to cheer about. In fact, they got their first runner in scoring position last inning. There's a strike called on Kipnis. Kipnis hit only .229 this spring. Ground ball right side. It'll find a hole. Base hit. Bourne on his way to 3rd. He'll get there standing up, and now the Indians have something going here in the 6th.
Looked like a split-fingered fastball at the bottom of the zone, just put in play by Kipnis, but he found a hole.
Here is Michael Brantley. They've handled him so far. A couple of fly balls for Brantley.
He's gotten Michael out both times today on slow breaking balls. A pop up to left and a pop up to right.
2 on and 1 out. Brantley shoots one fair down the left field line. That'll get to the corner and score a run. Kipnis on his way to 3rd slides in safely, and Brantley has himself a double, his first hit of the season.
Well, you knew it'd just be a matter of time. After getting him out with breaking balls the first 2 times up, he tried to throw a fastball right by Brantley, and he hit it right down, and I mean right down the 3rd baseline past Castellanos.
First RBI of the year as well for Brantley. And Indians fans finally have something to cheer about. It's a 5-1 ball game, and still now with runners at 2nd and 3rd, only 1 away. Meanwhile, Ian Kroll now looks like he will start to warm up for Detroit. Some action in the pen in the 6th inning. And Albuquerque has picked up a baseball. Here is Santana. He is a base hit away from getting his ball club right back into this one.
And you got to make sure you make Santana hit the ball to left field. You can't go inside and give him anything to pull. He's got tremendous power.
Walking a strikeout for Santana. He drives one to right field. That's a base hit right in front of Martinez. That'll score 1 run. An RBI single for Santana. 4 straight hits for Cleveland.
Simon is very fortunate that that's just a single to right field, because he threw this ball right over the inner third of home plate, and if he gets underneath it, he can drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Well, Santana's 3rd RBI of this season. That'll bring Jeff Jones walking out of the Tigers dugout. And all of a sudden it's a 5-2 ball game now. Still only 1 out here in the 6th. Well, you can follow the Tigers all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat. The #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, and a whole lot more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Well, things are getting a little bit interesting now here in Cleveland. They've got Brandon Moss, who I guess you could say is due. He is 0 for 12 this year. And suddenly the tying run at the plate for the Indians. And he drives one to right field, base hit. That'll get another run in. First hit of the year for Brandon Moss, and it's now 5 consecutive hits for the Indians.
Well, he just needs to change his game plan 3rd time through. Everybody now apparently sitting on off-speed pitches because he's thrown so many during the course of the game. That's a little forkball at 79 miles an hour, ripped right past the diving Ian Kinsler. This has happened quick.
Hasn't it, though? And that's going to be it for Simon, as the Tigers will go to the bullpen here. Brad Ausmus comes walking out of the pen, and with Yan Gomes due up, Albuquerque will be coming into this game. So Simon departs, and we'll be back to Cleveland. Offensively, but they've gotten 5 consecutive hits, and Albuquerque will take over.
He's made a lot of appearances last few years out of that Tigers bullpen, and he's usually striking out a lot of batters. 57 in the 3rd innings last year turned in by Albuquerque. He had 63 strikeouts, and one of the things he was really able to improve on from the previous year is he cut his base on balls down.
So Albuquerque now will take over, trying to stop the bleeding here and maybe strand some runners for Simon. tying runs aboard here with only 1 out. This will be the 7th man to bat in the inning. Gose will stand in.
Albuquerque has 2 pitches. He's got a fastball that will go anywhere from 92 up to 95, and he's got that slider. That slider is a strikeout pitch. He's looking for a ground ball here.
Gomes fly out, line out. Rolled it foul, 0-1.
Tigers have 14 hits. And to the Indians 7, but the Tribe only trail by 2 runs.
Tigers really haven't gone deep into their bullpen early in this season. Albuquerque comes out here in the 6th, and he delivers up high. Meanwhile, Angel Nesbitt has joined Ian Kroll. The righty-lefty combination. Nesbitt the righty. Here's the 1-1.
Well, if Brad Ausmus decides after Gomes to go to the left-handed Ian Kroll, there's no doubt that Terry Francona will pinch hit for Murphy. And more than likely it'll be Mike Aviles.
Avila heads out to the mound. Simon got the first man here in the 6th, then a single by Bourne, a single by Kipnis, a double by Brantley. That followed 2 base hits that Simon allowed. RBI singles to Santana and Moss, and now Alfredo's on the bench. Indians showing life here in the 6th inning. Another ground ball foul. Albuquerque last year appearing in 72 games. That was a career high for the Tigers. Been a strikeout pitcher and needs one here. Up and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. There's Murphy waiting on deck, the left-handed batter. Man, 3-2. Where did Albuquerque want that one? Just a touch up there.
Too risky here for Francona to start the runners on the 3-2 pitch. To a guy that strikes out a lot and Gomes, and also a guy that has a legitimate strikeout pitch.
Ground ball left side. Castellanos gobbles it up to second one. Relay is in time. The double play.
Everyday Al got that ground ball he was looking for.
And that's exactly what Simon wanted as well. A 5-4-3. As the Tigers stop the bleeding and the Indians make it a game, however. Tigers still lead this one 5-3.
If you're Gomes, you knew you were going to get the slider from Albuquerque because that's the pitch that he goes to whenever he gets himself in trouble. But Gomes made the mistake by trying to pull that slider that was probably about 2 inches off the plate outside, and he hit it right to Castellanos. Castellanos gets it over to Ian Kinsler, and Kinsler finishes off the double play.
So the Tiger lead now is down to 2, but we go to the 7th inning. And for Detroit, it'll be Yoenis Cespedes to lead it off. Then Castellanos and then Avila. Swarzak's still out there for the Cleveland Indians. Here's a bunt attempt. He'll drop it down fair, third base side. Got to let it roll, and it's going to go foul. Just barely foul.
How about Cespedes?
He's already got 2 hits today, single, double, and he almost had himself a bunt single.
Yeah, that bunt had too much English on it.
Cespedes doubled ahead of the Castellanos home run back in the 5th inning. Swarzak replaced Crockett to replace the starter. McAllister lasted 4 plus 2 batters in this one. 14 Detroit hits on the board today. They lead 5-3. We're talking about how the Indians pitched so well against the Houston Astros. Now, granted, the Tigers' offense is far superior to Houston's offense, but they've gotten it going today. More action in the Indians bullpen. Mark Zepchinski has been warming up. He's the left-hander. Line drive to left, and Cespedes gets himself his 3rd hit of the game. So that's going to be 15 hits now for Detroit, which matches the 15 that they had on the last homestand against Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a breaking ball that's off the plate that Cespedes is out in front of with his body, but he kept his hands back and able to get himself a solid single into the pool field.
Here's Nick Castellanos. Two-run shot to the opposite field his last time up. Castellanos starting to heat up. Got a couple of hits today. Nick came in 1 for his first 10. High fly ball left field. Chasing Brantley back, and now Bourne coming over, and the wind playing with that one, still blowing out toward right field. Cespedes tagging up, moves up.
Real nice base running there by Yoenis Cespedes. The fact that that ball was blowing away from Brantley, who thought he was going to catch it initially. Bourne had to catch it, but Bourne is on his heels, and then Cespedes simply just kind of jockeys back and forth, and he says, you know what, I can tag up and get to second base.
And Zepchinski will come in to pitch to Alex Avila, and we'll step aside. Another pitching change here in Cleveland. We'll be back. pitching matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet. There is Corey Kluber. He's going to be on the hill tomorrow for the Cleveland Indians. Tigers have a pretty good one of their own going. How about this early season matchup?
Well, you have a guy that won the Cy Young last year. You also have Price, who has won a Cy Young himself, and there are many people that believe that David Price, when the season begins, his name is in that Cy Young conversation already.
Kluber received his Cy Young award before the game. There's David Price all bundled up. He's ready to go.
It's also Kluber's birthday. He turned 29 years old today.
So tune in tomorrow for game 2 in the series.
Did you have Kluber winning the Cy Young last year, or did you have Felix Hernandez winning the Cy Young?
I had Kluber.
Did you?
But that was, I wasn't convinced until real late in the season. But I really liked his secondary numbers last year. And Kluber's a good one, man. He's, I don't know, I guess in some ways a late bloomer.
He's pitched very well last year for sure. Winning that Cy Young. I had Felix winning it all the way up until the end, and then I think Kluber, it kind of changed my mind. But Felix went, 14 straight starts last year, 2 earned runs or less.
Yeah, he certainly deserved it as well.
And really, some people say it was that bad outing that Felix had in September against the Toronto Blue Jays, where he gave up a really bad number, 6 or 7 earned runs, that really allowed Kluber to come in and steal the award from him.
Zepchinski is the new pitcher for the Cleveland Indians, and Alex Avila is standing in there now with a man at second base, 1 out. Tigers trying to rebuild that lead. Swing and a miss. You bring up a good point about David Price. I think he has a really good chance to win that award this year for several reasons. He's going to win a lot of games with the offense that he has backing him up, but also pitching, I think, at Comerica Park is certainly going to help him as well. I think he's got a terrific shot.
That's a couple great points.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Zepchinski replacing Swarzak. Swing and a miss. And Avila is down. 2 away. We'll bring up Iglesias.
That was a great move by the Tigers management to go out and acquire David Price last year on July 31st when it became apparent that Max Scherzer was not going to re-sign with the Tigers. So basically what they did is they protected themselves for this year by still having one of the best pitchers in the game in Price.
Yeah, they made 2 trades that in some ways protected them a lot this year, and the Joaquin Soria deal also protected them at the back end of their bullpen. But Price gives you that certain ace at the top of your rotation. He'll take his shot at the Indians tomorrow against Kluber. Iglesias, a sack, a single, and a double play ball in this game. Strike call.
Corey Kluber's going to have to go back and look at some of the pitches that he threw to some of the Tigers hitters last year, because as good as he was last year, Kluber wasn't that good against the Tigers. They hit him around pretty good.
In there for a strike. Iglesias, well, did you see the ceremony before the game? Hall of Famer Gaylord Perry gave Kluber his Cy Young award.
Gaylord Perry.
Gaylord also threw out the first pitch.
Gaylord was a real nice man to me when I was in my spring training with the Seattle Mariners in 1982, 1983, when he was pitching for that team. He was already a veteran, of course.
He'll get away, and that'll move the runner up. Cespedes will go to third.
He would invite me to dinner, and then I would play tennis with Gaylord Perry and his daughter at the hotel. I don't know why. He just kind of took a liking to me.
See, Gaylord were tight. Gaylord pitched 22 years in the big leagues. I was watching him throw the first pitch, or the opening pitch of this game.
Was it wet?
It wasn't wet. He didn't go to his mouth. He was legit with his first pitch today. Here's the 2-2. Right back up the middle off the pitcher, and this will score a run. It's an infield hit for Iglesias, and he'll take it.
Another 2-out RBI for the Tigers here today.
Right off Zepchinski.
Batting for Detroit, center fielder Anthony Phillies.
So that'll give the Tigers a 3-run lead again now, 6-3. And it brings up Anthony Gose. Right off that left foot or leg. Lefty now with Gose up there. Runners in scoring position and 2 outs. They are getting it done. 5 for 9 for the Tigers. Goes a couple of hits, RBI as well. And he pops up a bunt back on screen.
It's a big run Tigers have gotten back here in the top half of the 7th after the Tribe got on the board with a 3 spot in the 6th.
Albuquerque came out of the bullpen, got a big double play ball because the Indians had the tying runs on with only 1 out. And he got Gomes to bounce into the double play, and now the Tigers have rebuilt that lead a bit with a run here in the 7th. Here's the 0-1. Little number hit back to the mound. Zepchinski will handle it and throw it away into right field. Iglesias coming to third. They're going to wave him home. He's going to be able to score, and Gose goes all the way to third base as Zepchinski just airmailed that throw.
You talked about it earlier in the game, the fact that the Cleveland Indians last year were just a poor defensive team, and this is just not a good play right here by Zepchinski. He really takes his time picking up the ball, and then I think he saw where Gose was when he turned to throw, and he fired the ball over to first base and simply threw it over everything down in the right field corner.
Boy, is that a big run for the Tigers. It's now 7-3 Detroit, and here comes Terry Francona again. With Ian Kinsler due up, he does not want Zepchinski to face him. Huge error for the Indians, their first of this game, and this one just sailed on the first baseman.
Gose has that great speed. When he picked it up, he had plenty of time. Then he turns and he sees Gose out of the corner of his eye, and he simply drops down to a sidearm position. Have you ever seen a throw that poor by a pitcher down first base?
No. Into the corner and right.
Oh, man.
More bullpen help coming in for the Indians. We'll be back.
He threw that thing on the grass.
In-game box score, and this is something that's becoming quite a scene every night, Robbie. A lot of crooked numbers.
Well, there's a lot of balance in the lineup. Just about everybody in the entire lineup has at least one hit, scored a run today, with the exception of J.D. Martinez. But stick around. He still has another at-bat left in this game.
And so the Tigers, after getting up 3 runs, have taken 2 of them back, and we have a new pitcher on now for the Cleveland Indians. They go right back to the bullpen rather, and they pluck out Brian Shaw.
And Brian Shaw had an outstanding year last year, pitching in 80 games. Terry Francona had to dip into that bullpen quite often, as he always does. But this guy's got a really good cut fastball. It's a hard cut fastball, about 89 to 92, but it acts like a slider in many ways, and that's pretty much the only pitch that he throws these days.
So it'll be Ian Kinsler standing in. Tigers have Gose at third base with 2 outs, and Kinsler showing bunt.
Terry Francona's got a lot of veterans in that bullpen. Atchison is a veteran, Zapchinski, and Shaw.
And he's gone through all of them today.
Not a young bullpen by any stretch of the imagination.
Kinsler is 1 for 4, singled, scored a run in the 4th inning. 16 Tigers hits in the early going this year. That is a season high through 4 games. Two balls, no strikes. That one's in there. Tigers came into this game batting .343 as a ball club. They have done absolutely nothing to hurt that number, which was tops in the league, along with KC. Backing up Alfredo Simon, who gave up 3 runs. Driven toward right field, slicing away from Murphy. He's on the run. He's not going to get it. That'll go up against the wall and score another run. Kinsler is thinking 3. He's on his way, and he is in, diving with a triple. Ian Kinsler drives in another. It's 8-3 Detroit.
Tigers as a team have about 5 triples already this year, and another base hit the opposite way with that wind blowing out to right field. Murphy, as soon as this ball went up, it looked like he was having trouble with it, and another 2-out RBI for the Tigers.
Been a lot of those today.
Just flipped it over the head of the right fielder, Murphy, playing awfully shallow.
17 Tigers hits here this afternoon. We're going to bring up Miguel Cabrera. He'll try and drive in a 2-out run as Kinsler gets his 5th RBI. Fouled away. I think he's had a big day. 3 singles. He has stolen a base. He has knocked 1 in. Average up to .333 now in the early going.
The game's best hitter.
Ball high. Here's Martinez waiting on deck. Shaw last year appeared in 80 games, which led the American League. One and 2. Shaw came to the Indians along with Trevor Bauer, their starter, yesterday. He pitched a really good ball game in Houston. That deal was made in December of 2012. And the 1-2. Way outside. Gomes goes down to backhand it. Tigers have spread the wealth today. 6 different players have at least 1 RBI. And the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Down goes Cabrera to end the inning. The Tigers come right back and answer with 3 runs. had 17 hits in this game. And they're trying to put the finishing touches on a win here in game 1 in this series. More action out of the bullpen for Detroit. Blaine Hardy comes in.
He did nice work last year. And pitching in 38 games, he had an ERA of 2.54. And when Nathan went on the disabled list just a couple of days ago, it was Hardy that got the call up, knowing they were coming to Cleveland, a team that has a lot of left-handed batters.
And so Hardy will go to work against the bottom of the lineup. Looks like Mike Aviles is going to pinch hit for David Murphy. Chisenhall, then Ramirez due up. First pitch is high. 1 ball to no strikes on Mike Aviles. Ryan Rayburn has moved to the on-deck circle with another lefty in Chisenhall. There's a strike called.
More than likely, Rayburn and Aviles will get starts tomorrow against David Price.
Blaine Hardy, 28 years of age. He broke into the big leagues for the first time last year. The Tigers brought him to the big leagues, and he appeared in 38 games out of the bullpen. Acquitted himself really well. It looked pretty good, but apparently a little bit high. 3 balls, 1 strike. Blaine originally was a Kansas City Royals selection, but didn't get to the big leagues with KC. He got as high as AAA. And Aviles hits this one in the air toward left. There's Cespedes under it. It's 1 out.
And we told you that the Cleveland Indians have quite a few left-handers in their starting lineup and on their team in general. And here's one of the reasons that Hardy came up. 203 is what left-handers hit against him last season.
And that could be a really good weapon. And Hardy began the season down in the minor leagues, but called up, as Rod said. So he'll get his opportunity again here in the early going. Rayburn pinch hitting now for Lonnie Chisenhall. Ryan looks at ball 1. Rayburn 0 for 3 on the brand new season. Skies this one in the air to deep center field. Gose backpedaling to the track. Rayburn is out, and there are 2 gone. Well, tonight on Fox Sports Live, they've got all the news from the world of sports, including highlights of a full day in the NBA, NHL, and Major League Baseball. Fox Sports Live is tonight on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, Indians fans were starting to hoop it up a little bit. They got 3 runs in the 6th inning, but then that clearly, the celebration ended when the Tigers ended up getting 3 in the 7th to pull back ahead 8-3. Jose Ramirez batting. He's 0 for 2. She looks distraught and cold.
That's for sure.
Here's the 1-1. Not a good combination when you're distraught and cold. One and 2 on Ramirez. Bouncing one in there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Tigers establishing, albeit still early this season, a new high in hits with 17 against this Indian staff today. And he got him, strike 3. Blaine Hardy with a 1-2-3 7th out of the bullpen. Let's go to the 8th here in Cleveland.
of the game by Chevrolet. And back in the 4th inning, Kipnis hit a liner right back at Alfredo Simon, who started this game. And Simon able to make a play.
Well, he stole a hit away from him. Well, they've got some defensive changes now for the Indians. Avila stays in the game and plays third base. Ryan Rayburn stays in the game and plays right field. There you have it. And here's one of those veterans you were talking about, Rod. Scott Atchison checks in.
Well, Terry Francona trusts those veterans, and they had good years for him last year. And we showed you Shaw's numbers, who just pitched, and now it's Atchison, who also pitched in 70 games last year for Terry Francona. 80 for Shaw, 70 for Atchison.
It appears to be a little gray in that beard for Atchison.
Atchison also played for Francona when Terry was managing the Boston Red Sox.
Here is Victor Martinez to get it kick-started here in the 8th inning. Tigers up by a score of 8-3. Big day for Victor. 3 hits as he looks at strike one. Atchison is 39 years old. He was born in Denton, Texas. Martinez, then Cespedes. Victor's eyes just light up every time he walks in this building.
Yeah, they do.
His career numbers at Progressive Field: 302, 51 home runs
in 441 games.
Ahead in the count, 2 balls, 1 strike. Two the count. There's the other Martinez, JD, waiting on deck. Pulled on the ground right to short right field, where they had him played beautifully. And the shift worked that time. Kipnis throws him out. 1 away. Well, the Tigers have 17 hits, and on a day when your team nearly has 20 hits, you don't want to be hitless. That's what's facing JD Martinez right now. He is 0 for 4. So we will see if he can join the hit parade. 7 of the Tigers players today have 2 or more hits. Fouled away. JD with a couple of fly balls, a line out, and a strikeout. I mentioned these two teams last year in the 19 games that they played. The Tigers won 11 of those. Here's a strike call.
It's a well-located fastball there thrown by Atchison at 90 miles an hour, right at the knees.
Checked it. 1-2. There's Cespedes on deck. He's working on a 3 for 4. And the 1-2. Pulled on the ground to short. And scooped up there by Ramirez. So JD remains hitless. There are 2 gone in the 8th. And we'll bring up Cespedes. Two singles, a double, 2 runs scored. You can see the early returns here on Mr. Cespedes on both sides of the baseball, whether it's defensively or with the bat.
You know, we were talking about him a couple of days ago. The Tigers really liked him when he's a free agent, and before he signed with the Oakland Athletics. As a matter of fact, they thought they had him signed, but Victor went down with an injury, and they wanted to make sure they had somebody in that lineup that could protect Miguel Cabrera. They weren't certain that Cespedes was big league ready.
No balls and 1 strike on Cespedes. Saw some folks deciding to leave a little bit early in this one. Tigers lead at 8-3. They were headed for the exits out beyond the left field wall.
Yeah, downtown will be jumping tonight. Might be tough to get some dinner around here tonight, man. Everybody will be crowded somewhere.
That's a good thing for the city of Cleveland.
Oh, for sure.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Atchison's gotten a couple of ground balls to start this inning. Cespedes would not chase. 2-2 the count. Should Yoenis reach, Castellanos would be next. Ground ball to short. Ramirez has it there. And Atchison has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Here comes the bottom of the 8th. On Fox Sports Detroit. Join us again tomorrow on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Don't forget that we're on Plus tomorrow. Tigers battling the Indians. Our coverage begins at 3:30 with Tigers Live. Tigers Tribe tomorrow at 3:30 on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Kluber will be on the mound for the Cleveland Indians. Price for the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, I don't think people are going to have a difficult time finding where we're at tomorrow with that pitching matchup.
No, they will certainly seek it out. Michael Bourne leading it off against Blaine Hardy. And Hardy missed outside. 2 balls, no strikes. Corey Kluber receiving his Cy Young Award. David Price, well, he just kind of looking pretty cool in the Tigers dugout. The shades on. Meanwhile, now it's 3-0 on Michael Bourne. Hardy took over in the 7th, had a 1-2-3 inning. He's got Bourne to lead things off, and Kipnis and Brantley. That's in there, 3-1. Simon started, gave up 3 runs in the 6th. Albuquerque came on to get a big double play. Three and 2. Ends up losing in ball 4. Leadoff man on here in the 8th. First walk for Blaine. Jason Kipnis.
Not a bad day for Michael Bourne, leadoff hitter of the Cleveland Indians. A couple of base hits and now a base on balls. He is vital to their team's success this year.
Horn had himself a good spring. They're hoping that translates into a good season.
They're just hoping that he can stay healthy. He has not been healthy in the 2 years he has spent in their uniform.
And here's another guy that's going to have to pick up the pace if the Indians are to have success this year, and that would be Kipnis. He had himself a down year last year. Kipnis hit .240. Only 6 home runs.
They also have Nick Swisher, who was on the disabled list.
Slice toward left. It is a foul ball. Kipnis had that big year in 13 when he hit 17 homers, knocked in 84, batted .284.
He got himself a nice contract as well after that year. As a matter of fact, the Indians have signed a lot of their core players. Kipnis is signed. Brantley signed. Santana, Kluber, Carrasco.
The 0-2 is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here are the numbers the last 3 years. Even 2012 was a solid season for Kipnis. Two and 2 the count.
You want to make it happen right here on the 2-2 pitch if you're Hardy. A cut fastball away from Kipnis might get you the ground ball that you're looking for.
Fouled away.
You got to get it down a little bit.
There is more action in the Detroit bullpen as Ian Kroll, the lefty, he's still throwing. He's been up a couple of times. Jabba Chamberlain has joined him.
Jabba hasn't pitched this year yet, has he?
Negative. Popped up. Third base side, Castellanos. Kipnis retired, 1 out.
The breaking ball that Kipnis waited a little bit too long to pull the trigger on. Basically jammed himself.
A lot of really good left-handed hitters in this Cleveland lineup. You saw Kipnis, you got Brantley, you got Moss, Chisenhall.
That's why you will have teams in the American League Central, if they're able to do so. They will find some left-handers to try to go up against Cleveland every time they play them.
Hence Kyle Lobstein making the start for the Tigers. That's on Sunday here to wrap up the series. Justin Verlander on the disabled list. He backed away from a strike, 1-1.
They've got to get Brantley healthy. He's playing today, but he is less than 100% with the back issues he's had all spring long. And they're basically just back spasms. But it's kept him out of action already 2 games this week.
They can ill afford to have him out of their lineup. They'll shoot that one toward left field. Cespedes cruising over to make the catch. 2 gone. I saw Justin Verlander before the game throwing a little bit in the outfield. He says that he continues to make progress. That tricep issue that kind of reared its ugly head late in spring camp. The Tigers thought it might be just a day or 2, and then all of a sudden it got a little bit more serious for Verlander, and so much so they had to put him on the DL.
Well, one of the things that bodes well for the team is the fact that the other starters have gotten off to such a good start. There's really no reason in rushing Justin Verlander back.
Yeah, not at all. That spins Santana out of there. Carlos an RBI single and a walk in this game. Fly ball hit well to center field. Gose is on the way back, still going. Track, wall, leaps, can get it. That'll be off the wall and score a run. And Santana has doubled one in, his second RBI of the game. Fourth RBI of the year.
That's a hanging breaking ball there thrown to Santana. He thought he hit it out of the ballpark, but that wind is blowing brisk across toward right field. What was Gose doing?
I don't know. I was wondering that myself. Here comes Terry Francona.
You think it was a home run?
Well, he does, apparently. Well, the umpires are going to talk about it here. Right now, it stands a double and an RBI for Santana. Apparently, they're going to come take a look at it. Right now, the score is 8-4. Whether it's a home run or not, Santana hit the daylights out of that ball. Our replay, unfortunately, does not have a good enough angle to show you where that ball landed, so we can't show you a replay at this time, but they are taking a look at it in New York right now to see where that ball landed and see whether or not it was a home run. And if it is, it's an 8-5 ball game. As it stands right now, it's 8-4. This play under review. Again, to kind of get you caught up to speed on what happens with these replays at the command center in New York, they have many more views and many more angles. Right now, they're calling it a two-base hit. And a lot of times when there's a play that might be close, they'll jump on it before a challenge is even made, just to kind of speed things up a little bit. Terry Francona might go through another 4 or 5 pieces of bubble gum before they decide here.
That's for sure. How can you chew a whole tub of bubble gum?
I don't know, but it's apparently possible for Terry.
He's a grown man.
Well, we continue to wait to see what the ruling is here as they look at it in New York. And they apparently have their decision. Would hit a fan in the outfield, so it's going to be a double. Well, Brad Ausmus coming up. Apparently, a fan leaned out over the railing and made contact with that ball. And so Brad now getting the explanation. Dale Scott. Well, our friends at Sports Time Out Ohio had this replay. Top of the screen. Right there. That fan in the red made contact with that baseball. Reaching over the yellow line. So it's a two-base hit and an RBI. And an 8-4 ball game. Moss hits a ground ball foul first base side. Moss had a single back in the 6th inning, knocking in a run. That was his first hit of the year after going 0 for 12. Former Oakland Athletic who spent the last 3 years with the A's. Hit 25 home runs last year. Pop this one up. Shallow right center field. Kinsler calling for it. That'll end the inning. So the Indians get another run back to tighten it up just a bit. Tigers baseball. Presented by Bell Tire. By a score of 8-4, they are trying to put together their 4th consecutive victory to start the year, and it's Nick Castellanos to step in for the Tigers. Here is the Nissan drive of the game.
Well, Castellanos played long ball the opposite way. There was a runner on second base with nobody out. That was Cespedes. He was simply just trying to get him over, but when you just try to get a guy over every now and then, you get rewarded with an extra base hit, as Castellanos did there.
So it'll be Castellanos to start it off, and Avila and Iglesias the bottom 3, and they're facing a new pitcher now for the Cleveland Indians. Left-hander Nick Hagedorn has come in. A couple of hits in this game for Castellanos. A single to go with his 2-run homer. A couple of runs scored. So you look at the particulars on Hagedorn.
35 games last year for Hagedorn, 2.70 ERA. That's 3 guys now, Shaw and Atchison and now Hagedorn, that have come out of that bullpen with very good ERAs. But they're starters, so they're going to have to give Terry Francona a lot more length than they did last year as far as staying in games and eating up innings, unless he's going to wear that bullpen out.
Yeah, and when you see guys that have appeared in 80 games out of the bullpen, that's an awful lot. 1 ball, 1 strike. Castellanos. Fouled it off. 1-2. Hagedorn's 29 years old. Out of Sandpoint, Idaho. That's where he was born. Up and down with the Indians each of the last 4 seasons. Fouled back out of play. 8 runs on 17 Tigers hits here this afternoon. 4 runs on 8 hits for the Indians. The crowd has thinned considerably here. They had a nice gathering at 4 o'clock for the start of this one. Their opening day. Sunshine is starting to dissipate as well. Nighttime settling in. Here's the 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Castellanos.
Nice job by Castellanos laying off that breaking ball.
Missed it again. Terry Francona today has gone with 6 of his bullpen pieces in this game because his starter McAllister was bounced out of the contest in the 5th inning. He went 4 plus 2 batters in this game. And the 3-2 fouled away.
McAllister gave up a lot of hard contact today to the Tigers starting lineup. He's a guy that has a good fastball, 95, 96, but his secondary pitches just have not developed yet.
Now, McAllister had at least 2 base runners in every inning that he appeared in today.
He pitched in a lot of stress.
And he lost him. Ball 4. Castellanos gets a walk. Leadoff man is on. Hutchison gave out of their bullpen, got a 1-2-3 in the 8th, and now Hagedorn has walked a man here in the 9th.
That's a very important run, Castellanos. And some of you may say, well, why is that? But the Tigers lead by 4. You want to get out of grand slam distance, especially late in games. You want to have that 5-run lead if you can.
Vila on base 2 more times today via a couple of walks. He's also fanned a couple of times. Checked it, strike 1. James McCann will play in this series. Brad Ost was trying to decide when that will be. He certainly feels that he'll play on Sunday with the lefty house going for Cleveland. He's got to get the youngster in as well. It's just that, as you mentioned, Rod, Avila's been coming out of the chute so well, it's hard to take him out of the lineup. And he's popped up. Third base side. Avila's coming into foul ground. And Avila is out.
A couple of key plays in this game. And this came all the way back to the 2nd inning. A play that Michael Brantley probably should have called off the shortstop Ramirez, even though the shortstop was calling it. Much easier play for the left fielder, but that was Iglesias who hit that ball, and he ended up scoring. And then another play here where Zepchinski just simply throws the ball in the outfield when he learned that Gose was a little further down the line than he anticipated, and he made a miscue.
Here is Iglesias. Well, defense certainly was an issue for the Indians last year. They're hopeful of improving because last year they committed 116 errors, and no team in baseball committed more than the Indians. Pretty good day for Iglesias. A couple of hits and RBI. He's also sacrificed. In there for a strike, 1-1.
There are a whole lot of experts out there in baseball that predicted that the Indians would be better than the Tigers this year.
Well, I read a lot of those experts, and I believe a lot of that has to do with the fact that their starting pitching, they believe, is going to be outstanding. They've got the Cy Young Award winner on their staff. But really, when you compare these lineups 1 through 9, I'm not sure there's a comparison.
There isn't a comparison. And there was no respect given to the Kansas City Royals this year, a team that got all the way to the World Series last year. Chicago got a lot of respect with all the moves that they've made, but they haven't won a game yet.
Here's the 2-1. It is high, 3 balls, 1 strike.
I guess people just get tired of picking the Tigers during the division, I guess.
It could be part of it. Minnesota beat Chicago today 6-0. Twins had 10 hits. And so the White Sox have started the season 0-4. 3-2 on Iglesias.
What do you think Hawk Harrelson's saying about right now?
Nothing we can repeat. I'll just leave it at that. Full count on Iglesias.
Well, you can repeat it, you just might not be here tomorrow.
Well, that's true. I can always repeat it. There's a base hit to right field, so Iglesias continues to swing it.
Tigers hitters are not giving away any at-bats the first 4 games of the year. Guys that have 2 hits are trying to get 3 hits. Guys with 3 try to get 4, and that's just a nice pass at the ball by Iglesias.
Tigers continue to add to their season high in hit totals early in this season. They have 18 now in this contest. Here's Anthony Gose. And Gose reaching on that throwing error back in the 7th inning. Tigers now going to bring in a pinch runner. You've got Castellanos down at second base. He'll be taken out of the game. Romine comes in to pinch run, and he'll stay in the game and play third base.
For Detroit, running at second base, number 27, Andrew Romine, replacing Javier.
Brad has kind of reiterated that late in games, nursing a lead, he will make that defensive change at third base.
What's an important run at second base?
We'll see if Ghost can drive it in with 1 out. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Otherwise, Brad doesn't pinch run here for Castellanos.
Ghost had singles in each of his first 2 at bats. He has an RBI. Another wave and a miss. 0-2 on Ghost.
Indians have 1 more man in their bullpen. That would be Cody Allen. He's now up and throwing. Francona's used everybody else.
Here's Cody Allen tuning up. Swing and a miss. He threw that one by Ghost. He was down on 3 pitches.
I kind of like the configuration of the new bullpens out there.
I do too. There's Jabba Chamberlain, who's warming up right above the Indians bullpen. They're stacked these days out there.
It's a nice view for the fans in the front, and also some of the fans that are behind the bullpen standing.
Bullpen used to be out there in right field. A couple of the Tigers relievers went out there today and realized the bullpen's no longer there. Here's Kinsler, 2 out of 5. He's had a nice day. Single and a triple. That's lifted in the air toward right center. And Kinsler is out to retire the side. So the Tigers get a couple of runners. We go to the bottom of the 9th.
8 runs on 18 hits. And let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game. It was Albuquerque who came in the 6th. A couple of runners aboard, 3-2 breaking ball to Yan Gomes. He got him a roll over to Castellanos for a 5-4-3 double play. And it was a 5-3 game at that time.
Yeah, that was a huge double play for Albuquerque, and kept the Tigers ahead. They have since rebuilt the lead, and they're trying to put the finishing touches on a victory here today as Romine stays in the game, and he will play third base. And you got Jabba Chamberlain on the hill now.
And Jabba Chamberlain didn't sign until really late to come back and pitch for the Tigers in the offseason. As a matter of fact, it was the day before spring training started. But in 69 games last year for Jabba, he had a 3.57 ERA. But that doesn't tell the entire story. His first 4 months of the season were superb, but he really struggled the last couple of months of the year.
So it'll be Yan Gomes to start it off for the Indians here. Their last chance in the bottom of the 9th. Gomes is 0 for 3, grounding into that big double play back in the 6th inning. 8-4, the Tigers have the lead here today. And Gomes looks at a strike, 0-1. Albuquerque, Hardy, and Jabba Chamberlain out of the bullpen for Detroit. Here's the 0-1. They get back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. February 24th is when the Tigers signed Jabba Chamberlain. So I mean, that was about the time they were reporting to camp down in Lakeland, getting ready for the new season. 29 holes last year for Chamberlain, which was second among American League relievers. Here is the 0-2, and he missed just high. 93 on that fastball for Jabba. Bouncing in 2-2. Sellout crowd, we're told here today. 35,789 is your official attendance. And a nice ceremony before the game today. Their opening day here in Cleveland. Tigers have another opening day to deal with, and that's on Monday in Pittsburgh. And the Pirates will have their own opener.
Very rare that you get 3 opening days.
Fouled away. Gomes, then Aviles, and then Rayburn. Indians trying to get something started. They put together 5 consecutive hits back in the 6th inning to tighten the game up 5-3 at that point. And his line fair to right field, base hit. Martinez over to cut it off, and it's a leadoff single for Yan Gomes. Now Mike Aviles. Indians have their 9th hit of the afternoon. Two out of 10 career against Jabba with 3 strikeouts. Aviles came on a pinch hit for David Murphy in the 7th inning and stayed in the game defensively at 3rd.
Aviles very valuable member of that bench for the Cleveland Indians. He can play a lot of different positions. He can play left and right, 3rd, short, 2nd, and played all of them last year.
Former Kansas City Royal, the organization he broke in with. Strike call. Well, if you're tuned in looking for the Pistons and the Pacers right now, it's over on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. So we try and put the finishing touches on this one here today in Cleveland. So tune over to Plus if you'd like Pistons basketball.
April in the D, baby.
Gotta love it. Wings, Pistons, Tigers. Outside, and now Chamberlain falling behind 2-1. Waiting on deck, Ryan Rayburn, the former Tiger. Wave and a miss. 2-2 on Mike Aviles.
And Aviles did Jabo a favor there. Breaking ball off the plate outside, and you know he's looking for a fastball, but he was still fooled on that slider. At least he should have been looking for a fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Aviles has some power. Hit 13 homers a couple of years ago for the Red Sox. Checked it. And he went. He rung him up. Dale Scott says, take a seat. Aviles says, you're nuts. Big strikeout there for Jabo.
That's close. That's awfully close, but he appeared to go.
Yeah, I agree. I think he went by the thinnest of margins, but he went around. So now Rayburn. Ryan's only at bat, resulting in a fly ball. Also came on as a pinch hitter earlier in the game, and there's ball 1. Pace of game rules not having a whole lot of effect on this one.
Not today.
It's going to be about 3.5 hours before this one is complete. 2-0. And just in case he is needed, Joakim Soria is warming up. He is the interim closer for the Tigers with Joe Nathan on the disabled list. Jaba's 2-0 pitch. Wave and a foul ball.
And it looks like Jaba is going to feature that slider quite often again this year. Most of the pitches he's thrown to the righties today has been the slider. But he's got a fastball that can get in the mid-90s. What was Joe Nathan telling us last night, that he actually felt a little twinge or something like his final outing in spring training?
Spring training, which I didn't know. Yeah, he said that's when it first started bothering him. And then when he pitched he came out to face Torrey Hunter.
And he said the very first pitch he threw to Torrey Hunter, which is a good slider, I said he felt it again.
That's why the Tigers are fortunate to have a guy backing him up like Soria, who I'm sure will step in and do a nice job while Joe was out. 3-1 pitch. There's a big hack by Rayburn.
I don't know what he'll throw here, 3-2, but if he throws a fastball here, Rayburn, he might not pull the bat off his shoulder because he's convinced that Job is going to throw him another breaking ball. And he's going to get that breaking ball.
And he's going to take it for strike 3.
He took that one too.
Wow. Couple of strikeouts for Jaba Chamberlain. So we need one more out.
He froze Ryan.
Here is Jose Ramirez, the last chance for the Indians here this afternoon. Tigers lead at 8-4. We're in the 9th inning. 2 outs and a man on. And Ramirez 0 for 3. Strike 1. Tigers 1 out away from going 4-0 on the new season. That's it for a strike. 0-2. Chamberlain became the last Tiger reliever to get into a ball game this year. He's one strike away. Soft line drive to left. It's an 0-2 base hit to left center field. So the Indians are not quite dead yet. Well, Brad Ausmus's not going to mess around. He's got Michael Bourne coming up. That's going to be it for Jabba Chamberlain. They'll bring in Joakim Soria here to try to get the final out. Well, Chamberlain upset at himself. He got him 0-2. Soria comes trotting in. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. When it's time, come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows. We can do that. We are the factory. Tigers tripled this year, part of a huge offensive attack for Detroit today. And now Joakim Soria coming in to try and get the final out.
Soria had a really nice spring training, and coming on the heels of being injured down the stretch for the Tigers. And when he came over in 2014, 18 saves last year and 20 opportunities.
Well, he's got to get Michael Bourne here to put this one in the win column.
That's why I was talking about that 5th run last half inning. You always wanted to stay out of grand slam distance. They put one more guy aboard, and they will be looking at that particular situation.
Bourne has been on base 3 times in this game, and he takes ball 1. Walked and scored in the 8th, singled and scored in the 6th. Time call now as Bourne steps out. Piece of paper down the first base line. Soria has been an all-star twice in his career, both with the Kansas City Royals back in 2008 and then 2010. Gift is on deck. Tigers with an 18-hit attack here today, but the Indians now have 10 hits of their own. That is in for a strike. Bourne taking all the way. They need that extra base runner. Bring the tying run to the plate. Strike on Bourne, who disagrees as he backs out of the box.
And Michael might have had beef. Looked like it may have been a tad low.
And tad is correct.
Nice job by Avila grabbing it and pulling it up ever so slightly to get the call from Lance Barrett.
And he got him strike 3 to end the ball game. Soria comes out of the pen and closes this one down, striking out Michael Bourne. And a good effort for the Tigers today. They pound out 18 hits. They beat the Indians here on their opening day, and the Tigers roll to 4-0. We'll be back to Progressive Field in a moment.